Mr. Ball.
Oh, getting cattle feed delivered, all the good stuff.
It's time, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? We're not gonna have much time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, call meeting in order this morning. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda, if everybody's okay with it.
Yes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for September 13th,
And I'll second,
2022.
and I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's 10, please.
Okay, I had, I went to Russ, took Chris's spot. Okay, we looked at the treasurer's report, approved it. There's going to be an audit, and that's the end of October, it's a normal thing. We discussed a delinquent customer report, there's somebody in Ollie that, that's behind, they're gonna have problems with. We considered the new hourly rate for environmental health specialist Mike Dawson. They went from $6.50 to $17 an hour. The executive director update, they were discussing the pump truck that they bought. It is in the black and it's making money. We also had a discussion on, I questioned if they would work for anybody or this or that. I said that if we would ever get some type of tanks that needed to be pumped like at Virginia Grove or somewhere, would they be available to pump it? And yes, they'd be more than willing to take care of that. Being a contract, you have to get somebody to do it. But that would be good to be involved with Russ in that if we ever did that. That's the Russ meeting. You want this agenda and all of that, Chris? I'll just give it to you.
I've got it on my phone.
You got it? You don't need one, I've got that. Southeast Iowa Link. I'm not gonna get too much detail here because I believe that
Bobby's on.
Bobby's gonna be on today.
No, she sent an email saying she spoke to you and she was gonna put it back to October.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, and I did tell, I got mixed up on months. And I know what you're saying now, sorry. We had our update on the Adult and Children Advisory Committee members, and there's a new Children's Advisory member, Patty Brooks from Des Moines County joined us. On that, she didn't join us at the meeting, but she's a new advisory committee member. I bet they still need people for the adults, they haven't got anything. Approve the claims, filed and received the fiscal agent report. We discussed and approved legal representation fees at $66 to $68 per hour. Because if you remember, I think last month we decided on who we were gonna have for legal representation. So we went with discussed it and approved the fees per hour. And we had a discussion to consider approval of an MOU with County Rural Services of Social Services, South Central Behavioral Health Region for Forest Resources, IRSH Services, which is Intensive Residential Service Homes. It's in Burlington. Bobby can give you more detail on that, and she will when she's back here. That's about it. Business as usual.
Anything else, Randy?
No, that's all I had was those two meetings, I believe. I guess I was down here and, I don't know which day, when did I see you? I was down here and was looking at, the windows on the courthouse and how that was,
Friday.
I come down and checked how that was all done, went upstairs, talked to him in the clerk's office to make sure that
Friday.
everybody was, getting along up there, right? It seemed like it was, and I haven't checked anymore. Where are they? What's the progress on Brandon?
Got, all the south side, except the ones we're missing. We're missing, a total, 10 picture windows and 2 sliders.
Oh.
We got them ordered.
Okay,
We got all of them in on the south side that we have. I mean, all the bases are in, the frames are in, just gotta do the top picture windows. I don't know.
it's going all right though?
It's going good.
Haven't run into any major,
The east side sure looks nice, cause it's got the top windows in, except for
Yeah,
the judge's chambers.
We're gonna start doing that, today. We're working on, we got all the sidewalk area covered on the, east side, this weekend, and then we're doing the skinny windows in the clerk court, and then we'll do the skinny windows down in the, library down at the other end. It's going good. We worked all weekend on it. I was
Okay.
there every day. Going good.
good,
Um,
that's
Yeah.
all, I don't have anything else.
you
I didn't have nothing.
Got a lot of things going on. Thursday I was out there at the complex. There's the new boilers. Remember how big the old ones were? These here are about the size of a house boiler.
Wow, okay,
They're $1.5 million BTU each.
okay,
That's how they are now, how big they were before.
Mhm.
Got everything pretty well cleaned out. Met with electricians Thursday, I think it was Thursday, could have been Friday. I don't know. Sometime last week. And so we got 2 air conditioners we gotta get hooked up. We're looking at putting charging stations in for 4 charging stations for the squads. We're gonna start shutting the squads off. And then that way they, computers can stay up and save some money that way. But put 4 posts in before we do any concrete and anything out there, but get that in there and it'll be on a 12-volt charging system. And just kind of get some prices gathered up on that, see what it costs. I'll bring it forward to the board, but we're trying to move forward to keeping the squads. And the reason they got to keep squads running today is because there's a lot of electronics in there running, and if you shut squads off, it wouldn't take long to drain batteries out. So we're going to make it where they can plug in. We're going to go with a magnetic type of plug that they don't have to remove it. Just when you back away, it pulls itself apart. It's not prongs or nothing going into it. And it's just 12 volts, low voltage. So, but to keep our batteries topped off, and I think it's going to be good. It'll pay back pretty quick, especially if fuel's so high. There's quite a bit going on about every building, but out there, remodeling was completely done. Everything looks good. I don't know if you guys had a chance to ever see that new room, but take a look at it. Night and day difference. Got some, we're gonna have to run conduit for one of the new units from the box. That'd be a big deal, just getting the ceilings. We get some of these projects done. I'd like to look at windows out there, single pane windows out there at the complex. That saves quite a bit. I just imagine this courthouse this year that our heating and cooling costs are just gonna start dropping tremendously, because we're going from a single pane to a low E. Sunlight can't affect it. No. We gotta get some shades. We knew we was gonna have to do that, but I think if we can get that controlled, the low E is not gonna deteriorate anything inside of our building with the sunlight like we had before. The single pane, we found that there was no caulking on the edges. We foamed everything that we put back in, and we did a little wrapping. I was over there last night when they were starting to wrap it. and kind of going through what I'd like to see and looking good. I got one window, just horizontals wrapped, and they'll start doing more today. So it looked good. Biggest thing is we got the windows sorted out and moving forward. What else is going on? Took the hornet's nest down Sunday. Tried to take it down in one piece, and they was a little mad at me. So I got up there. I never been stung, so but they was hitting me in the head trying to get me away. But I never got stung, but I wanted to get that hornet's nest, but I had to spray it, so it was pretty angry. Had the sidewalk blocked. I wanted to keep the hornet's
You went
nest.
above and beyond, Brad. Thank you.
I wanted to keep it.
Would you just spray it down?
I just spray it and then I put a bag around it and then threw it in the trash. Yeah, I wanted to keep it, but I got like 3 of them already. Sidewalks next week. So we're gonna try to do, I'll keep Sandy informed over there, but I think we're gonna try to do the north sidewalk first. We're gonna try to do it with the least interruption to anything going on with taxes and stuff like that. So we'll probably do the east one, and then we'll probably come over here and attack this, and we'll do it in 2 parts. So we might have to maybe utilize this door for a day, just a day for walking traffic. It'll be 7 days for.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably be okay, but we'll probably have to park and back. But I'm planning on splitting the lot out for 1 day. They'll just have to use this back entrance
How far are we?
all the way to our property line. Won't be no grass on that side. And then I'm gonna take the sidewalk past our property line into his driveway, so we don't have a 4-foot bad area coming in,
I
so.
won't have to park in the water.
Nope, the water situation should be taken care of. So 1 day, we might have to have employees just use this door, but after that day, once we get it poured, as long as I get 8 hours, they can walk on it.
Yeah.
So we'll try to keep that minimal over here, just parking will be for a week, be a little stupid, but. And then after maybe the first of next month, I'll start doing some areas over there. We won't have so much tax traffic coming in. We can start doing some other things over there, and it probably will not get all this done unless we have a exceptional year like last year. But if the winter hits us in October like it usually does, then we'll probably have to carry some of this on to spring. But they're prepared for it. So if it works, it works. If it don't,
Yep.
we're on the
We're
schedule.
moving forward.
Courthouse, Randy pretty much covered it. The windows are going good. We did have to order somehow, for some reason, there was 10 picture windows not ordered and 2 sliders. And it's that great big one at the hallway. Didn't get any of it get ordered, so but we'll get it ordered, and it's 2 weeks away. And what else is going on? We're planning on working Saturday and Sunday over there again. We'll get the front west side knocked out this weekend. Yeah, we even worked in the rain.
Saturday, I see that.
Yeah. And it's, like I said, it's going good. When's the pointers coming?
I have not heard a date,
Okay.
so.
We should be pretty much done. We probably got a week or 2 of just metal. So if we get the windows all done, we won't interfere with cut point and concrete or anything. It should work out pretty good. I had a conservation. We met with the movers. We got 2 of the lean-tos from Hank property, that Waffle Development, the group I'm on. We got conservation got 2 of the lean-tos. We're just looking at how to get them moved over here.
What was give to them?
We got them given to us, the group made
Okay.
a vote to give it to conservation. Pole barn, we had a guy from Burlington, a mover, come over and look at it yesterday, and we met with them.
You got enough room Put
Yeah,
it,
sure.
okay, you're gonna put some kind of, move it for now and then.
We're gonna try to get it all attached
Floors
and everything.
concretes and all that
We'll probably go gravel,
for now.
and then down the road, look at putting in, and if we put it where we was talking about yesterday, it'll be a cold storage and we'll never have heat. And then we'll heat the other one for like the loader and the pickup and the snowplow and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that. But that should get everything we have as conservation under roof. That's a very important, that, got a lot of good equipment out there that's, it used to be red, it's pink now because it's sat out in the sun so much. We met with, we, Adam, myself, had that meeting yesterday. I think you guys was copied on for DOT prep meeting at City Hall yesterday at 1 o'clock. And Sean Main, Mike, and Brett Schaefer. We met there, kind of went over, and I got them out in the truck. I can bring them in here in a little bit. When Randy goes to the post office, I'll run and get them. But it's just some ideas that we're gonna present Thursday to the DOT. We're gonna meet with them down at the county office. Not for sure, I think it's 11 o'clock. I'll have to look. But you guys are all invited. We have to set up a meeting thing we'll do, but there'll be 3 people from DOT, 2 top brass, and then the engineer. And just, he wants to bring us up to date for what's going on. They're gonna talk about how they're changing possibly that our entrances will be at ground level. The 5-mile lane will probably go above the 4 lanes. But he'll kind of bring us all up to date if you guys can make it.
Where's this at?
At the county office out there at Secondary Roads.
It's what day?
Thursday. I think it's 11 o'clock. Joe, you on there?
I don't know,
She is.
11. I'll try to make it.
The 22nd or the 29th.
Sometimes she says she's not paying attention to it, she just got turned.
Okay, 22nd.
I'll try to make it, but I've got a closing maybe that day. That day we're gonna close earlier than that, so I don't know when that is.
Okay.
I'll work it in.
I'll see if home available.
Can't, I'll bring it, Dave.
Okay, okay.
So anyway, that's gonna be some good information. They, something else is going on. What was it? Air conditioners are done at the complex. Just gotta get, once we get the electricity to them, they'll do the Freon and make sure everything's right, do a head test on them. I think that's it. We probably won't do any concrete out to the sheriff's office this year, just due to the timer running out. There's one more thing. I can't think of what it is. Okay, that's it. Public input. Is there any? Any from the Zoom? Okay, I handed you an ambulance report. Did you give that to me?
No, I haven't.
Okay, we got, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and do number 11, guys. I was asked to bring it up to you on October 30th from 4 to 6. The trunk or treat was out the complex. They want to have it in town. They'd like to use our courthouse grounds. They're gonna bring bathrooms and stuff in and have a bouncy house and have the streets blocked around it, just like we do. And I just wanted to make sure, I told them, I said I had to get your guys' blessings on it also. But they, we got some ruts in the yard that we're gonna fix once we get done with moving the equipment around. But maybe before, I might, we should have everything fixed by then.
Okay,
And I'll make sure our concrete, we can work around that, work, if anybody drives on it, it'll be okay, so.
okay.
But wanted to get you guys' blessing on it.
I'm okay. If they
Need
have
a
the
motion?
courthouse.
Do we need a motion on it?
Not usually, the Heart Club just comes in and asks. and you
Yeah,
guys are
we
either
just
okay
agree with it.
or-
I'm okay with it.
I'm
Chris,
great
you're good?
with it.
Okay,
It's a good deal
I got her blessings.
for the community.
Okay. Is any of this abatement or anything, is this just from,
That's just from the
Last
Mavis
week's?
purchase. No, the Mavis purchase
Okay.
going forward. They paid a certain portion of it,
Okay.
prorated taxes, but then the rest of it has to be abated since it's going to be conservation.
anybody here discuss on that?
No, I don't have anything
No,
to
it's
say.
just a.
We just need a motion.
So that's number 8, guys.
Do you have it there in
I
front
got
of
it right here.
you? You need to do it, I'll do it, just as long as you have it there.
I didn't see any payroll changes either, just for you guys. Was there any that-
I don't think so. Been a lot of moving parts recently.
Okay, I'll make a motion, it's resolution. The resolution. Twenty 22,
Yeah, just, I wasn't sure on numbers because we've had
okay.
several going through. so.
To abate the taxes on the, parcels at Morning Sun, the, Mavis purchase.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
No,
All in favor?
Aye.
Ready?
I
Motion passed.
can't sign and thank at the same time.
Okay, I have, there's nobody coming. Mike's on if we have any questions, but I think pretty much know what's going on with it.
Mike's online.
I don't think there's any questions, but there is Mike can answer. Here it is here. It's on number 9.
Yeah,
That's the Hank property. 30 acres. Surveyors will be here this week. We're gonna lay out the many lots we can get. We're hoping to be 50 some lots for building. It's right adjacent to the city of Wapples line on K Road. Right across the street is the elevator property, but that is in the city's area. And we wanted to put that in there and start working toward moving the city toward the bypass. So Wapples Development purchased that property back in, I think it was July. And I'm on that committee and we're working toward, morning. Working toward getting that annexed in. The city, we talked to the city a couple times. They're interested in moving out there and this is what this is to bring it forward. I think it's a great addition to the city. I think it's the first big growth like we've had for quite a while, move out that way. There's really not a whole lot of areas. We can't go east, can't go north, south. We're pretty much at the end on that unless we take up some farm fields out there. And this is one that makes the most sense. It's right out by Spencer Industries. But if you have any questions, Mike's on there to answer anything you have also. But it's pretty straightforward.
I have no problem with it. I'll make a motion that we sign the resolution for voluntary annex on the parcel 0828480000 to the city of Wapello.
Okay, I got a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Ambulance report, I reviewed it.
Okay. Okay.
Brandon, we discussed that, using the courthouse. Everybody's good with it?
Okay,
Yep, everything's great. I didn't think he was coming in.
I'm sorry. Just if you had any questions, that's what this here for. So.
No, everything's good. It's supported 110%.
Awesome,
You're
great.
gonna have bathrooms. We've got some construction going on, but I'll make sure that the concrete stuff, we'll have it where nothing will interfere with it. So,
Okay, great. And then we're gonna do Shelley days during the day, that day. So from 12 to 4, it'll be Shelley days downtown. There'll be all kinds of stuff downtown.
okay.
They'll do a trunk or treat. And we're gonna ask the city to close down the roads here on Franklin for a little bit and around the entire courthouse. A lot of people park at the school, be kind of a safe transition for all the kids to kind of go walk around the courthouse. I think it's just a lot better than the sheriff's office, just here in town.
And
And,
keeps the kids in town. And
yeah, then the church will have their thing at 6, so it'll be 8 hours of Halloween stuff the entire day, so.
Well, thank you for doing it. It's
Yeah.
great for the community and
Nope.
we support it.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
And
Good day.
the sheriff's office parking was a problem.
When people are parking out there in the highway there, it's probably not a good thing. This will, yeah, things, I'm sure the city will pass closing the roads, so I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks so much.
Take
Good
care.
to see you, Brandon.
You too.
Okay. I'm gonna wait for number 10.
Yeah, because that's Adam's bringing that in.
And,
Or it's in there, but he's gonna discuss.
Hey, on our
So we can go over
claims, and I'm gonna leave for a minute. On the claims, secondary roads, farmer's elevator and exchange, the descriptions workman, work comp. And what is that? $11.99, $20.98, $25, $39.
Be a good question when Adam gets here.
Well,
Well, I don't know, maybe it's really
Miss
simple.
Moore, maybe.
Well,
What did you say it was?
here is farmer's elevator and exchange work comp, 1,773. And then those smaller stuff, what is that?
The $11.99 is really farmer's elevator. And then the work comp is in here too, so I'm wondering if it's something like coding.
almost appears to be an error. Good question.
We'll find out who this is. Unless there's mine safety equipment.
No, they can't do it.
Yeah,
I mean, when I saw the little amounts, I thought, oh, maybe that was so much per each person, something like that, you know.
Yeah.
But then I see the big amount, 1773. Oh, well, yeah, hell, there's another one here, guys, for 10,162. Something's been coded wrong. Farmer elevator exchange, work comp, 10,162.
yeah, I'll have to get with Joe, because I don't know, she codes them different than how we do ours, so.
Okay, I'm gonna.
She uses short coding and we don't.
I'll be back a little bit, guys.
Yeah, let me go get that. Maps. Put windows in yesterday and feel like 98.
They left.
They're leaving, man. I got so many things to say.
They're
Maybe
going
that's
out,
why they left.
they're going out to get their ball bats.
I'm not Brad.
No, you're not, are you?
How's Adam there?
All right, check up on our Mississippi here. What are we doing here? Larry, that's yours over there, Larry. You see who it's made to?
Yeah.
We got Dan Wilson, we got all of ours are about 15, 20 years ago.
We still get Frank Jameson.
Frank Jameson, I think I got Frank's.
Yeah.
I got Ken Purdy's.
No, Ken, boy.
It's early 2000.
Yeah, this is Frank Jameson.
Oh, cool.
How's Adam been?
Oh, busy. Busy. There you go. All right. Looking at a plan there or something?
There's something this Brad just handed me.
It's what you give me yesterday.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll hand out my stuff.
Thanks, sir.
I think I'll send this to you, but.
Yeah, I think I attached it with the resolution, I think.
The city's coming in. Republican.
Yeah, it's just nuts.
Just coding area.
It's just a description. The numbers are right. How do you know when Tyler's glitches?
So you wanna hold on?
No, the amount's right. Well, and the numbers are right. It's just the way they describe it. That's the last glitch. They do another one next new glitch.
Yeah, keep some of those.
Hannah, on your claims and trying to figure out all the workers' comp claims. Something like got put in
Yeah,
the
Jill
column.
looked at it, and she goes, they all got charged to the right accounts, it's just the description's wrong.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I just look at them and I don't know, I don't go through workman's comp payments that. type of-
Yeah.
That's a,
Oh,
that's the deal wanting to, I don't know why in the hell they sent it to me. I have no idea if that is probably a Paul group, right?
Earlene, I think it's a woman,
Well, yeah, but it took the place of
yeah, Amber.
Amber, I suppose, and she's doing a little different than what Amber did, sending that notification if they're gonna negotiate the union stuff. I don't know.
Where's
That
Amber?
needs to go to Groove. I don't want to have Amber.
I'll scan it and
Amber
email it
stepped
to
down,
you.
you know?
Hey, is that for roads too?
It's for all union.
Did Amber sit down? Did you hear anything?
I heard that Amber was out.
You heard that she was out?
Yeah.
Okay, I've
that's
She
right.
quit. This must be the new person, and she's doing it by the book rather than sending that like to Groove or something, or to you. She, for some reason, sent it to me. But there it is.
Is that just an announcement of the
Yeah.
new negotiator, it's not a initial proposal?
No,
No, just
Well, Groove had
Groove asked about that a day or two ago, didn't he?
the MOU about
He-
comp time,
He was talking about, okay. Well, there-
which was a MOU probably
Yes,
5 or
yes,
6
that is
contracts
just the
ago.
notification that they're ready to do this. They must have to send those to us. Okay. Sorry, guys.
Howdy, howdy. Well, I guess we'll start with construction, that's on everybody's mind, I guess, I don't know. All 3 bridges are done to the point where they're all open to traffic, they're all, the joints have been sealed. The contractor's going to do a little bit of punch list things now, drains on bridges and putting rodent guards on tile lines, stuff like that.
And on
So-
two.
I was across the one up on, up north of Combsville.
Yep, I did
The other
that.
day, it was going pretty good lip hitter and it rode nice.
Did he know it's early bridges?
Those are the best approaches I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
they
really done a
re-
nice job
really
up
did a
there.
There's
good
no
job.
clicking, there's no bump.
Nope,
Really did a good job.
I was impressed with that.
At Rogan Hill, I mean, we went out and shot them, and then I took them in the CAD, and every 10 foot, you have a little bit of a change, and
How does that ride?
It does, like, it's really good. I'm
I haven't
very
been down
proud
it
of them.
yet.
how they
Like I
did.
said, I was the north one.
Yes, so we went and we collected all the data and then brought in the CAD, and I did some things to try to make that curve, and then we got out in the field and the guy's like, yeah, let's do it a little bit, so we kind of worked together to get it done, so.
It's a smooth transition.
Yes, smooth, I mean, as compared to the last one we did was out on that W66 on that, and that's all new, and that one is not as nice as
No.
these are,
It's got
so.
a click in it, yeah.
Yep, so, anyway, good, everything's on time and budget and all that, so. We did, a little bit of delay on G44X, because I elected to replace the approach railing on that, because it wasn't up to standards and was kind of hokey, so, anyway. That got all done, we got the asphalt work done on X17 and 305 done. Now it's all painted up and back open to traffic. So both of those projects are gonna move into payment and close out phase, and
They
hopefully,
did put a thin layer on, didn't they?
on both of those, they milled down 1.5 inches and put back 3 inches.
Okay.
So,
Did they do it one pass or two?
2 passes.
Okay.
On 305, we're gonna have some negotiations about some deductions, because some of that, they kind of had some bad spots. So they came in and oiled it and sanded it and all that, so
You can see it because it looked like it was all rock at the top.
Yes, yeah. So we're talking to the DOT to advise us how to handle that situation. So the contractor on
See how they do fix that.
the contractor on X17 wasn't the same as the one on 305. So
But wasn't that Pelling?
so Norris was the general. The contractor on the 305 was Eastern Division of Manats, which used to be Illiwa paving.
That's right.
Illiwa paving. So the paving on X17 is almost just perfect.
Yeah,
On
'cause you can
the
see
305,
some
it has
areas
some segregation areas.
Looked like it had rocks.
Yep.
Come to the top.
Yeah. So I'll give an update on that next week. I gotta
I'm interested how you're gonna.
kind of get our ducks in a row before we can.
Because I imagine it's pretty common, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, wasn't coming on X17. They did 6.5 miles and
Looks good.
almost
Oh,
perfect.
good.
So that's coming to an end here. Obviously, we got the closeout and some of those things going on.
You even got rid of that, what to do in that drainage too. That was,
On
in my truck, it was a neck breaker on going in less.
the 305,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm hoping it doesn't reflect
Show
up
back
or not, because that's a fairly shallow culvert, and sometimes those shallow culverts, as the earth freezes and thaws, you can do that. But, so that's about done. We got construction on that trail junction probably beginning of October. Moving on that thing, bid letting for the W66 bridge in November. What else going on? So we made a hire for our technician job. Justin Wesley, who came to us from the DOT, was a highway technician there who has a combination of machine operation. He also did some construction testing and things like that.
Over the Columbus.
Yeah, he was at the Columbus shop. And he applied and figured we can use his skills and it'll be fine. So his motor grader district, which is District 1, which is Junction north to Gladwin and Conesville side, that corner, that one was open. So Austin Edwards, who we hired a couple of years ago, was doing this south of Junction. He jumped up to the north of Junction. So he moved to District 1. Jeremy
You got a
Older.
board to track.
Well, they're all going, they're all going home.
Yeah.
Is what
Back
they're
to
doing. I
your-
understand it. They're going
Yeah.
back into where they were raised, into that area.
Yeah, so
When he explained that to me earlier. I said,
So
"Yeah, that makes
Austin
sense."
Edwards is going from District 2 to District 1. Jeremy Order has been here 10, 12 years, is going from District 3, which is the Letts area, back to District 2, because that's where he lives. His family, his dad lives there and all that. So District 3 is open. So Logan Ely, who we hired as a trucker mechanic in Wapello, is going up to Grandview to cover the Letts area. And then the Wapello trucker mechanic, we asked her, nobody else wanted it. So Bill Hake, who just lives over here in Wapello, is going to take that job. So it all musical chairs gets done. We have a truck driver opening back in Junction. So
That did.
yeah.
That's interesting.
So
Well, that's good. Everybody got to move around and
yeah, we
do
got to
this and that.
May.
Well,
Almost
Chickens.
everybody's happy. There's
Yeah.
One good, not happy, I guess.
Yeah,
one of them who isn't happy,
but that's okay. You made 5 or 6 of them happy,
Yeah.
hell, you can't ask for better than that.
And and I don't really get any choice in any of it. I just let the guys know what's open and tell them, hey.
I think it's good that,
I do too.
I think it's good that these
It breaks monotony.
road grader operators are moving around. You don't have to train another road grader operator.
They get trained.
One of them.
Logan.
One of them, so.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
But
sorry.
you got
But the other
training coming
ones,
up anyway.
the other ones,
So I'm confident that our maintenance supervisor is going to do better job of training guys because he had trained, he trained Austin, he trained Justin up in their
Yes,
districts and all
yes.
that. So
Okay,
I'm confident that we're gonna have less learning pains than our last couple
Yeah,
of
yeah,
guys jumping
okay.
into grader.
Good.
So I'm confident about that. Yeah, we do have a scheduled better grader training. So we, in addition to Lee County and Henry County and Des Moines County, contracted with this Brian Jackson's heavy equipment operating company, and they do heavy equipment training for all kinds of things, but one of them is motor grader operators. So Mr. Edwards and Mr. Ely are going to go down to Henry County for 4 days. There's a day of classroom instruction and then 3 days of road all that. So we kind of had Logan jump in the grader this week just so he knows how to run the dang thing before he's asked to do anything with it. So anyway, my plan was now to have the 2 youngest guys who would have the most time in the machine to invest the money in those guys, because you get 20 years of use out of them versus some of these guys are going to have, we got a guy with only a couple years left, but we're not going to spend $1,000 a person to send him, whatever.
yeah.
So anyway, that's the plan there. Moving on, I think Hire is going to be on site tomorrow to start on the parking. So we've kind of moved things around and worked with conservation there to get some trees cut down and lay some rocks so we can get across our lot. And we'll see how that goes. So
What's the cure time on that thicket slab?
it'll be
14 days,
5 days.
5 days?
5 days, yeah. It was interesting on the couple of bridges. So typically in the past, concrete had been getting its strength in 3 to 4 days. And whatever these last 2 that we've done, it's been pushing 5 days. I mean, it barely passed at 5 days. It was almost the point if it would have broke any lower, we would have had to wait extra days, which is not something I'm used to. I don't know if they're changing the mix of the cement or whatever, but anyway, just.
No, they wouldn't do that without telling you.
Considering that they added what, 8% or whatever this
Took the fly ash out, never told anybody, still charging for it.
so. Okay, moving on to formal things. We have this Eastern Iowa Light and Power Co-op's application for approval of construction in Wise County right away to replace poles along F Avenue from Muscatine County line south to 172nd Street. This is by the power plant up there on F Avenue. They've got overhead lines and they're gonna bury them. I told them I want them pushed back to the right of way line as far as we can get it. So I met with the guy on site and everything's fine here. So.
And is that just bring a new power in, or?
That's replacing those old aged overhead aerials.
Okay.
So,
This is Randy's.
do you guys have a,
No, they don't have a copy of that.
so whichever one wants to know?
Go ahead and motion, Chris, I'll do the next one, I've got my hands.
I'll make a motion to approve Eastern Iowa Light and Power's application for approval of construction on the right of way to replace poles along F Avenue from Muscatine County line to 172nd Street.
Okay, got a motion?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. What else you got, Adam?
Other thing is the farm market changes around Grandview. I gave you a copy, I think you guys already had it, but here's a map. And the plan would be to, if this is approved, to approach the Iowa Farm to Market Board about getting this changed. This would be the portion of G44X in the county, and then that's Jefferson Street that goes north past our shop there. So we would deduct 1 mile of the farm to market route and then add it back into Old 61 and 160th.
And add back 1.6 miles.
Yes, 1.6. So
Okay.
so to be increase of 0.6 miles.
Yep.
I talked to a couple of the farm to market board members and they don't see any problem, but it's got to go to, I'll have to go to the county engineers conference an extra day early and have a meeting and all.
This is what you went to in 1st of August up in Des Moines, talked to a few of them.
I did this for the X71 and G36 thing a year ago or so.
So they're aware of this, all this.
Yeah, I need to formally apply here, but I can get your guys' blessing. So, in terms of changes for Grandview, the blue route that goes east to west, that's G48, was it Jackson Street, is it east-west road? And then it goes down and out the cemetery, that would remain farm to market. The northern blocks would revert back to city control. So they would get the tax money for that, which would help them out a little bit. I was thinking before we formally handed it over to them, though, we might help them out and do a odyssey on that little, stretch there, the same.
From the stop sign north to the county, to the
North.
city limit,
Yeah, we
right past the fire station and the county shed.
Yeah, so we would, I was thinking we would go in there next time we do a little black seal coat.
Over, yeah, do something there.
Yeah.
It is
it's
a little, it needs some attention. I walk that route all the time.
Yeah.
It could use a little attention right there. That would be
It's
good.
rough.
It would be good that we
Yeah.
did something there before we,
And after that, it would go back to them.
Yes.
We probably wouldn't help out anymore, but
Yep.
we would do what we can. And then the part that remains farm to market, I had that in our 5-year plan to kind of combine that and some other smaller, the Oakville thing and this and into kind of one project, so we could hopefully
okay.
get some savings there and include the paving on that 160th using farm to market funds. So I think this kind of reflects what we talked about a few times, the desire to move the road, to create the bypass, and doing what we can to help out before these. So.
How far you think you're out to get a different surface than gravel on that bypass? How far out do you think?
So I'm planning to let out the grading for it this year.
Okay.
So that means that the grading gravel portion will be done next summer. And then the next summer, fall, we would let out the paving.
Okay.
So it would sit there for a year, 9 months or so, and hopefully get some traffic on it and all that. If we wanted to, we could.
24, fall of 24 then.
I don't know where we at now.
Fall of 22.
In 23, you'll get it.
23, you get the up the grade and this and that.
On summer 23, it would be graded and gravel and all that.
Summer, fall of 24 is when we pave it.
Yeah, and if
Okay.
if we wanted to, we could put down a seal coat base layer next summer to kind of hold it in place if we wanted to.
To me, that make more sense, and then we can enforce the embargo
Yeah,
if we had a different surface.
yeah.
Well, as long as we don't just do that and then let it go.
No, but with the other one in part, but we can't really do an embargo if we have gravel. It's,
Right.
So it's
Grandview Street. So.
yeah, because it's tearing Granby streets up.
Yeah, I don't have any firm plans, but I was thinking, well, if we graveled it and then next summer we could, seal coat it. And then when we do asphalt on these little jobs, we could just asphalt the rest of that around and that'd be the job.
As long as we don't just leave back again, as long as we don't just do a seal coat and say, well, things have changed, that'll be good enough. I wanna see a hard surface road there.
So generally when I make plans, I try to follow through with them, you know, I mean,
Don't take it, no.
no, I
Don't
am,
take
I'm
offense,
just,
I'm just
I'm just-
throwing that in there.
yeah,
Let's,
yeah.
Good things happen.
I
In
mean,
the past, we've seen Louisa County do things like that.
well, but, yeah, I
not with this engineer.
I
We're
tend to
perfect,
do
you know.
things whether,
Yeah.
I would, to be honest, I would still rather pave down Grandview and run all the traffic through there, but.
I know, and we've had that
We've had that
discussion.
discussion.
We've had that
and we
discussion,
just-
so-
we decided to go another way,
So
so it's on
here
the
in-
list and it's gonna get done, so.
Here in public, I wanna just say, I wanna make sure that we don't just go there and quit.
And the reason I brought it up is just the fact that that is now their road and they're gonna have to pay for the repairs after that. So
Yeah.
the quicker we can get
Yeah.
enforcement, 100% enforcement.
Yeah, I understand, yeah, so.
Okay,
So, I've got the, right of way purchase to Mr. Parsons and he's working up deeds and all
Yep,
that.
yep.
So we have agreements
it's
and
going forward, okay, good.
it's going forward. That's the plan,
The
so.
plan's in place.
So. Other than that, you know, kind of finishing up some ditching type things out on the roads, you know, oddball projects, fixing culverts and things like that. The boys are gonna jump on to concrete patching next couple weeks. So, you know, kind of staying busy. We're getting some of the annuals done on equipment and stuff like that in preparation for fall. Probably October, we'll start bringing in some of our salt and sand and getting, even.
I know when he's,
We
don't say that bad.
we
word.
still have to plan ahead, you
Yep.
know? I was talking to a guy, and to me, it looks like it's gonna be cold and dry, but you never know.
So with Mayor behind you, Palmer Junction, have you heard anything when they're gonna do that trail? Is that next week? Or?
Well, their late start date on it is October 3rd, so I would assume.
Talking that bike path over there.
I'm guessing October 3rd, will be when they're here. I think Mike was gonna call them and see where we're at. We kind of have a little time to breathe here.
Yep.
Between, I mean, you know, with all the paving, all that, you know, we work Saturdays and
And the guy leaving.
I think Mike worked 80 hours last week, you know, and maybe it wasn't 80 hours, but 70 hours. I mean, that's a lot of time and all that, so. Oh, well, he worked 60, but then with the comp, that's how I added up 80, so. Anyway, so we'll hopefully next week, maybe.
Will there be a lot of road closures in this coming out by the school? Will there be any road closures that way?
No, everything's gonna be done under traffic and cones and all that, so.
And in our corner, that'll be road closure up there coming in from the city.
So that's also part of the reason why we're doing patching next week. We're gonna get the portion in Columbus City patched up because it went to heck. So our plan is to get that done and get a tile ran out there under the new part that the contractor's gonna do, so hopefully it makes that better for everybody. Mark, I was gonna ask you something. Did you get anything, did the city get anything from the DOT on traffic control plans for maybe two project?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I'll forward you what I got, so. It's a good question if you guys need any temporary stop signs or anything going through town, is all that traffic is going through there.
Well, look at all that again
Okay.
and
Okay.
see where we think everything's gonna go.
I've already begun the process of complaining in advance about dust control and all that on the Bluff Road, because I just know people are gonna go through all that. My understanding is that project is gonna let in December, so we'll just let December get going sometime next spring, so. We're gonna have fun with that one, so. That's 4,000 vehicles a day going somewhere.
Shortcut. Have you
Okay,
heard anything on 78 besides what they're doing? You haven't heard nothing?
I was over at Winfield yesterday, and it looks like they got a bunch of new asphalt over there heading east.
And they're gonna do a whole top coat too.
Yeah, they're gonna put a couple layers over top of that. I think maybe on the concrete, they're gonna put down a scratch coat to kind of restore the crown. And then I think an interlayer, which is a really dense layer, and then the surface course on top of that.
As they're staying in this area for another 4 weeks, so.
So, good road. I mean, this, at least when asphalt's first done for the couple of years, it's really nice. Obviously, the life cycle isn't as long as concrete, but
Well, as much patching they did on 78 with concrete, it's basically new concrete underneath of it. So
Yeah.
just in 2-foot sections, so.
yeah,
Do you have anything else, Evan?
I don't know. Probably ramble on for another 20 minutes if you wanted to, but
okay, we need to do this resolution.
Yep.
I will make a motion that we sign the resolution for the farm to market modifications. It's a review board application resolution on the Grandview project.
To send it forward. Yep.
And I'll second that motion.
Any more discussion? Not all in favor?
Chris, I signed it. Do you have any idea on those claims, why
Yeah.
It was just
in the
the
claims,
description, the numbers are right and everything.
the
It was-
description was wrong?
The description is wrong and they're correcting it.
Okay, that's fine.
yeah, I admitted that I don't look through that portion of the claim.
Yeah,
just
that's fine.
as-
That's fine. It was
As other
explained to me.
purchases.
Thank you
Tools
so
and
much.
supplies, but got put as safety.
Thank you.
I don't know if you want to give it to them.
Yeah, you'll
I'll scan it.
scan it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
See you, Adam.
Katie, I seen your face pop up there.
Yep, I'm here. I kind of lost track of time this morning and all of a sudden I realized it was 9:30 and I'm the only one here, so I sort of need to keep the office open anyways, but yeah. So it's been really busy here. I've been to a few different conferences and so I know Joellen's on. She and I, Elizabeth and Jacob Ewert all attended the Iowa County Conservation Conference that was last week up in Dubuque. That was a really great conference along the Mississippi River. They had some excellent sessions and I think we all learned a lot there. This week is our week to be on so one of the things that ICCS has been doing is 99 parks in 99 counties in 99 weeks. And so on their Facebook page, they went in the order that county conservation boards were established in each county and have been going through. So it's going to take them like 2 years to get everybody done since there's 99 counties and only 52 weeks in a year. And so this week happens to be our week that Louisa County is being featured. And so you can go online to the My County Parks Facebook page if you want to and see all the great things we have listed on there. It's kind of wordy, but there's a lot of information to send people to do things and a lot of really beautiful pictures. Another thing that we've really been working on is the Eden Park Playground. And so that's been in the works for a while. We did find a contractor. It's a company called Bluebird. And I believe they are a union company. They are planning on coming next week to pour the concrete for the playground. And then we found out just the other day that I don't think our playground equipment is going to ship until November 2nd now. So we're still anticipating and hoping they can push that up a little bit because in order to install the playground surfacing, we need it to be above 43 degrees, I think it is. So, but that project is moving forward and will hopefully be completed this year before it gets too cold. The buildings, you guys probably heard a little bit about the buildings. Louisa County Conservation Board put in a bid on the 2 smaller buildings that are out on the Hank property that the Wapello Development Group was trying to sell. They did not agree to our bid, but they decided that they would just give us the buildings. with a couple stipulations that we have to get it off the property by December 1, which we don't think will be a problem. And hold on just a second. I have someone here. Can I help you?
I'm John Jenkins. I'm with Sinclair Tractor.
Okay.
I just wanted to stop in and drop off my car to
Oh,
you.
thank you. I'm in a Zoom meeting, but I will give you a call later because I do have a couple questions for you. I am Katie.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yep.
My cell number is Beth Lee.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that, you guys.
No problem.
And so, yeah, so they're given the buildings and then we also have to pull out any posts that are left in the ground afterwards or concrete that might be attached to them, which we don't think will be a problem with the skid steer. And just yesterday, we met with a guy who might be able to move the bigger building for us. We're trying to get a quote on what it would cost to move the bigger building. And if we're able to do that, we might be able to have the bigger building there to improve our shop, maintenance shop also. So that's still kind of up in the air based on whatever the cost is going to end up being to get that done. So questions on that stuff so far?
Nope, nobody has any questions.
All right, we still have our contractors at Toolsboro. They're supposed to be there today, painting and finishing the doors. So I'm probably going to be heading over there later to check on that. We've been kind of pushing them along to get them there. Other things that are going on, the naturalists are really busy. They're starting to get into their fall field trip schedule. They're doing a lot of monarch programs and public programs. The women's outdoor workshop is coming up this weekend. They're going to be paddling on the Iowa River. They're also doing a Lapa Little, Love Your County Parks out at the Wetland Interpretive Trail at Langwood. And so they're going to be collecting prairie seed that we can use in other places and cutting some invasive species out of the prairie there. So they've been pretty busy. The maintenance staff is busy also without the interns. They've been trying to get some other jobs done. Today, they're going to be out riding the mowers all day, trying to get the complex knocked down and a couple of other areas. But they've been working on some fall food plots and just all sorts of projects that we don't have time for during the summer. So let's see, what else? What am I missing? Brad or Joellen, you guys have anything to add that I'm missing?
I don't think so. That, I think you covered it. Yeah.
I do have one question. I was driving up to the conference on Tuesday when you guys met for the public hearing. I think Joellen told me that there weren't many comments or maybe any comments for the public hearing on the property for Ron McDonald.
None.
None. Okay. So what's our next step? Do I need to do something in that regard, or has anyone contacted Ron McDonald, or should I be doing that?
And yesterday to get the resolution and the deed, and he saw Adam and myself, so.
Can you say that one more time? I have a hard time hearing you. You're a long way from the camera.
That's okay. He came in yesterday and talked to Adam and came over to my office and got a copy of the resolution and the deed, so.
Okay.
There was one public comment, and it was a taxpayer. It was a written comment, and he was in favor of getting more ground back on the tax roll.
Okay.
So
So he already has a copy of the deed then?
Well, I'm not sure, because Adam thought that he sent it to my office and I did not remember seeing that copy, so he was gonna get Brad to re-sign it and get it to him.
Okay. I'll get in touch with Adam and see what we need to do, because I'm assuming it'll be the reverse of when we've purchased properties, that Adam's gonna want him to make a payment to the trust, and then the trust will make it over to us, and then we'll give him the deed afterwards and such. So I will check with him on how to proceed with that, because I have never done a sale before. And then is today the public hearing for Black's Bluff?
Next week.
Oh, that's next week. Okay. All right.
Papers this week.
What day did you say?
It should come out in the papers this week.
Okay.
Public hearing will be next Tuesday.
Okay. All right. I've been trying to follow along on all the agendas, but being gone is hard because you're not in the swing of things as much. Okay, and then, yeah, and then I've been, talking a little bit with, Hutchison's, and they would like me to send them a paper with what we kind of talked about, and so I'm gonna be sending them a letter today, talking about the same kind of letter that we sent to Ron McDonald and to Black's Bluff, and then they will be able to send me back a paper saying, yes, they're interested in purchasing it. And then I'll share that with my board on the 10th, and then we'll look at potentially a public hearing for them after that. And hopefully I'll need to talk to Susan Barron again, about that also. So, and then we'll have that stuff. So that is coming along also. I guess, my other question for you guys is, are you still planning on putting concrete in the cold side of our maintenance shop, or are we holding off on that for now, or what's the plan?
We'll probably hold off till the spring since we're running out of year, and we got this new building coming in. We got to concentrate on that.
Okay,
I just don't think we'll have time, and we don't have places to move it with the weather. We're talking into this week being chilly again, and so we don't know what's coming up.
So we definitely gonna do that.
Yes, definitely gonna do it.
There's so much going on right now.
We just got so much.
yeah, no, that's fine. And we don't have a clue how much Mark Zeiser is gonna charge us for moving that building potentially, or ask for. And so I don't know if it's possible for that to be an ARPA project instead of the concrete for this year or not, but it's something to think about.
It's the criteria. I don't know.
We can check, that could.
Yeah,
I
it
never
could.
thought about moving that building with the
It could.
infrastructure. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the guidelines of that funding.
okay. I was thinking there might be one more question that I had for you.
But I think on the concrete, we'll probably, with this building coming in, getting this attached to the ground, I think we're probably, because we're not for sure where we're gonna put it at, after yesterday. And then we do have to maybe put another driveway in at the conservation. We do have to put temporary widening down the tank property to move it out if that goes forward.
Brad, if you, once you get that moving, that building on site, wouldn't surprise me if there's gonna be a little bit of concrete work that has to go along with that. And that would be the perfect time to include that with the shop.
The shop's gonna require a lot of empty now.
Oh, hell.
Yeah,
And then a lot of that stuff, we don't want it to sit
but you might
outside.
have, like I said, you might have concrete work. You might have concrete work.
We might have to do one to get the other one done.
Okay,
You see what I'm saying?
gotcha, okay.
Yeah, so it might not happen together, but we definitely want to get the other one set up so we can use. You're right.
Yeah, and the part of the discussion yesterday included augering in some sort of like sonotube so that we could pour concrete at least under each of the 6x6s for supports for the building, so that we have a level spot to put it on, and then filling it with maybe rock for now, and then eventually putting concrete as time and money allows. So did you share with them our comments and what you saw out here at the complex, Brad?
No, I didn't. That was one thing I was forgetting, but I went out there. We had some settling always going on in the kitchen area, in the dining area. We've always had cracks. They seem to be getting worse. I talked to drain doctor for running a camera down our sewer, but we might have to cut some concrete right by the kitchen. That whole area along the building's probably dropped an inch to an inch and a half. And there's hollow spots underneath the concrete. I think we have either a sewer or a water line that the water guy said we was using more chemicals, correct, Katie?
More water. We had more
Water.
water flow than we've had, yeah.
We're gonna look into it, but I'm gonna get drain doctor. I talked to him yesterday. He was gonna get back to me with a schedule to scope the sewer drains at least, see if there's any breakage in pipe. So that's one, and thank you for bringing it up. I knew I had one thing that we looked at.
Yeah.
We had a lot of things coming back from vacation to get caught up on, but it's gotten worse. It's always had some crackage here, but it's definitely dropped more than I've ever seen. Kate and I looked at it the other day, and underneath the vinyl baseboard, there's 1 inch to 1.5 inches in some areas where the board dropped.
Yeah, one of the reasons we noticed it, because the jailers bring back the food cart every day after feeding the inmates, and they roll that into the kitchen and the one door, and it's cracked and dropped down enough that they hit that and couldn't figure out why the cart wouldn't roll in the door, and look down and hear that crack had formed. And so that happened fairly quickly, I think, or, overnight. And there's both of the doorways have a little crack, and then down by the old probation door, there's a smaller one, but it's also cracked, so.
And the repair on that could close their kitchen for real. And that's why we have to look and see what we got. But if it's a water line or drain, I've cut a lot of concrete, we fixed a lot of underground. But with this being on the wall, and then it depends where the problem's coming from, it could take us into the kitchen. Hope it don't, but if it does, then we'll have to plan on other sources of food coming in.
I think that's everything, unless anybody had questions or anything for me.
And
Oh, you should have gotten emails about the conservation picnic is going to be on Monday, October 10th, as part of our conservation board meeting. So the conservation board meeting will be at 4 o'clock. So it'll be early that day, with the picnic invites going out to people to come at 5 and eating at 5:30. Tri Rivers will be frying fish. We'll probably have some other sort of meat, and then it's a potluck, so people can bring whatever they want to share. We'll have lemonade and water there, but people are allowed to bring a beverage if they want. Even a cooler with a couple beers is acceptable, so. Chris. All right, that's it.
thank you, Katie.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See ya.
So Cindy's still.
She was going.
We'll get this 9:45 out and then.
Cindy, are you busy? You're not. You're not out of the counter. Okay, I hear voices, but I didn't. Yeah, I just didn't have a meeting with you guys next, I don't know.
Good morning, Cindy.
Good morning. All right, for general assistance, our foot and phone traffic for August, we had 98 phone and 44 foot. The community supper takes place this Thursday. It's S&J Tube, and they have Sal Spaghetti. They had a change of menu last minute. I just received that yesterday, so we're getting the word out as quickly as we can. But hopefully people are okay with the menu. And then for our food pantry here for Wapello, it increased quite a bit. For August, we had 40 households utilize the food pantry, and that was 124 individuals. Our food pantry coalition meeting meets this Thursday, or this Wednesday, sorry, this Wednesday. Yes, at the Wapello Food Pantry. So at 1:45. So then we'll be able to tour the pantry. Everyone will be able to see that. And then I've also been in contact with some local businesses, because many of the food pantries are struggling with, usually they order from Food Bank of Iowa, and there's plenty to order from, but the Food Bank of Iowa has had lower amounts of things on their order form. And so like meat, produce, and pasta, things like that, dairy has been difficult to come by. So I contacted Economart, Tyson, Trio, Casey's, and Dollar General here in Louisa County, just to see about possible donations, but also reclaiming maybe foods that are close to expiration or best by dates, and to see if maybe we can recoup those into food pantries to get out into the community. So
I don't understand how a federal program, dairy, is in short supply.
yeah, so USDA foods are very low right now for some reason. It's they're hard to come by for the food pantries, and so that's why the food banks are struggling with getting those on the shelf. And the numbers have increased. The Food Bank of Iowa put out a newsletter, and it said that they were at their highest in 40 years. Even it like spiked during COVID and then went back down, and now it's at the highest in 40 years again for some reason. I don't know if it's food prices on the shelves or I don't know.
When we need it the most, we can't get it.
Yeah, it is sad. Yeah, and some of it, like we were getting pasta, like unending amounts of pasta, but the companies that produce the pasta have cut back on their production lines, and so then it obviously affects the food banks receiving the pasta and things like that too, so, yeah. So that's been a struggle. Most of the food pantries have like, money that they can pull from to be able to go into the stores and purchase, but obviously that money dwindles quickly when they have to go in and purchase and they can't order from food bank or get donations. So we're just looking at that, and that'll be a topic,
Could
tomorrow.
we switch our purchases over to powdered milk?
We do have powdered milk a lot of times on the shelves, and also shelf stable. It's liquid milk still, but it's shelf stable.
All that stuff in the paper cartons.
Yeah, it's like paper
Last
carton,
for
like,
a year.
yeah, yep. And
I've
it's,
used it. That's good.
yeah, and so that we try to get those when we can't get actual pasteurized milk.
Well, let us know if there's anything that you need for that.
Yeah. I mean, at this time, I think we're okay. We're just having these conversations so that we can keep the shelves full and keep.
Because some of that stuff is long-term storage. I just don't like going out buying gallons of milk because then you got the 20-day window and then it's not
Right.
good, so.
Yeah, and when a
Buy the
pantry is only
long-term.
open once a week, it's difficult to get rid of
Yeah.
it before expiration date. So we don't stock, in abundance of those items either. so.
Does all 99 counties have a promise?
It is in other, yeah, I sit on a roundtable group for our region. And so we just met like a month ago. I don't have that here. Yeah. It was in August that we met. And so we had that conversation there a little bit, but it wasn't the topic of conversation. Whereas when I sent out the coalition meeting and pulled that group together, because we only meet twice a year for the coalition. So that was the topic that I heard from at least 3 or 4 different pantries. Because I always ask, what do you want on the agenda? What do you want to chat about? What's going on? Things like that. So that was.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to make it to that meeting, but that's something we need to look at because a lot of our seniors get this foods. But if they could go to more canned vegetables, canned fruits, I see a lot of spoilage on the bulk, like apples and then get the peaches, and it depends what season it is. And they don't consume as much as they get. If we can get that into a different type of frozen or something that they can take partially out. That's what I'm thinking is we're wasting a lot of our supplies because they're going by tonnage. They're not going by what they can eat. They give them more than they can eat in time that they have to get to eat.
Right.
And this milk and stuff is so important because we can't get our seniors to drink enough milk and eat something good. And then when they can't get it, it just makes it worse. So we gotta do something.
Right. Yeah. Yep. So we're working on it. And right now we don't have, the shelf we're in our pantries, we're not hurting.
Well, let us
it's
know if
just a
you
long-
get to where you're out of funds
Right.
situation, before you run out of funds
Yeah, yeah.
situation, that maybe we can help with their COVID money or something.
Okay, sounds good. And then the mobile food pantry takes place next week. It'll be on Wednesday, the 28th. And so that's when we see a lot of those clients, whoever utilizes pantries locally, they also hit up the mobile food pantry. And last month we served 175, and that's like an unreal amount. We were at 100.
You ran out of food?
Typically, yeah, we have ran out of food. So it's just, kind of strange, but yeah, it's.
I think it's our people that we haven't been really counting as unemployed is now starting to come to a head now. And you're starting to see all these people that left their positions for whatever reason now coming forward where they need some assistance.
Right, and food stamp, the SNAP program, which is the food stamp program that people commonly know it as, it's gone. Yeah, the numbers have gone down with what they received, and so it's kind of a trickle effect. So Salvation Army has switched over. We are now part of the Western Division rather than the Heartland Division. And so we were able to send back those rapid draft checkbook system that we had been using. Now we're into a voucher system. The kettles will go out into the community the first week of October. So Hard to believe we are into that season already.
Bucket
so-
time, huh?
Yep, yep, so that's pretty
Somebody going
much,
out Easter.
yeah.
Let's go back.
They always go out around October. They're out for about 3 months. I pick them up right after the Christmas holiday season.
Let's just go to the pinwheel thing like we did in the spring. We'll put pinwheels out.
That would be fun,
Yeah,
yeah.
just move everything.
I'm ready to start over and miss winter.
Well, again,
Unfortunately, we don't
let
have
us
that.
know if there's anything on that. But if we can go to long-term products, I think that would be a good fit for COVID money.
Yeah, and we keep those items on the shelf generally, but we also try to get fresh in if we can. So, I mean, yeah, we try to do the whole package to where they have plenty of meals to make really sweet stuff.
Is there somebody we can address, because it needs to go to the federal level? Because
I would have to reach out to the Food Bank of Iowa.
Gary's
to see
always
where
been
they're
a
going.
federal handout since, in the whole thing, and now we can't do it.
Yeah, and maybe I could reach out to USDA and see what
What
they're,
programs?
yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
For the dairy, when school opens, that's kind of, in the dairy world, milk prices go up.
I seen the milk did go up, but usually the feds is, got their hands in it, so they control it. So. And usually the cheese and the milk is something that they've always had abundance to give out to people now.
Yeah, I remember big blocks of cheese
Now
and
they don't
things
do it.
back at, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just different.
Yeah,
now.
seniors count on it. So.
Thank you.
Guys to come on back
Yep.
or
Who's here?
it's like little small.
Yeah.
Then I'll come back in a minute. I've got
or
one more
Cindy-
thing.
Cindy small.
We got something.
Okay, I'll let you go.
guys right here. Hang on. We got to approve the plans. We gotta do this and that. And I wanna do this. I forgot this, guys. I got this, the Board of Health members. This was only sent to 5 people and it was all the Board of Health. I wish it would have been sent to us individually, and I can probably, send it on. And it's a recognition here of Roxanne Smith, and it was sent to us by Burdette Davis. She's the Community Health Consultant, Division of Public Health, Iowa Department of Human Health and Human Services. You all know her.
Yeah, she's the
Okay.
area lady.
She says, good morning. Good morning, Louisa County Board of Health members. I want to take this opportunity to let you know what a valuable asset you have in Roxanne Smith as Director of the Louisa County Public Health. Members of the Bureau of Public Health Performance within the Public Health Iowa HHS provided a one-day collaborative in Cedar Rapids and Denison, Iowa. All 99 county local public health agencies sent administrative staff to one of the meeting sites. Roxanne served on the statewide planning team to orchestrate the content for the presentations for the collaborative, as well as presented at both stations. Louisa County's successful pursuit to revise Iowa's administrative code and provide policies to improve the health of Iowa. Multiple compliments were received regarding her presentation on how a small county can impact big change. Without question, Roxanne is a leader among Iowa's local public health directors and a value to Iowa's public health system. Signed, Burdette Davis. I think that's, I'm really proud of Roxanne. I'm very happy with what.
We're
we just got there. So, and the Board of Health is.
We're very proud to have her.
Very proud of it. So I just wanted to read that to everybody. If anyone would like a copy of this, I can forward it to you. Okay.
Well, we,
I'll make
once
it.
you send that to Sandy and then we'll get that printed out, I'd like to maybe present that. Have some type of thing, because that's something to be very proud of. Maybe we need to
Well, yeah,
do something a little more formal with that, because that's coming from a leader in public health that is
at
very
the
well.
state level, very
respected.
well respected. This,
Yeah.
she's, yeah,
So maybe we can do a little bit more with that, because
I will,
Anybody is above and beyond, and she's definitely that most of the time. So.
I will, before we're done here, I'll get that transferred on to CMO.
Thank you.
That's all I had, but I wanted to make sure I. talked to you. You got claims?
Should I make a motion to approve the claim?
Yeah, we got still quite a bit of business to do, but yep, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims for September 2022. We have some, just some description changes in that claims, but other than that, Sandy's getting on that.
Yeah, I'll second.
The numbers are right.
And
The numbers are
counts
right. The numbers are right, it's just descriptions.
Just needs a little description change, but other than that,
Okay, any more discussion? Well, we need to vote on it. Okay, any more discussion? Now we'll vote. Okay. I made your way.
we all stumbled.
Yeah, good job.
Everything was
First day on the
good.
job.
Yeah. Bring it forward. Motion.
Okay,
Okay, now, public input, Mark, what do you got?
He's here for the work session.
Okay,
yeah, I think we're done.
and Adam, you're here for the work session? Signature?
On something
that I'm Okay.
pretty sure I already signed.
Yep, yep, I signed it Friday.
Floating somewhere.
Adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn also. And I'll second it. Then we can go into our
We're adjourned.
10 o'clock work session.
Yep, thanks, Adam. Yeah. And then the resolutions that we talked about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let Liz know you will be coming.
Okay.
I'll take
After the work session, I want to ask you a couple questions. Waffle's looking at replacing one of their ambulances. And how old is your backup? You know that off the top of your head? Okay, because we want to look at if we can possibly replace one pump junction with the COVID. Oh, yeah.
We just, we didn't replace it with one, we just replaced it.
Yeah. So maybe we can rearrange some finances on that one. I know you did, that's what you're, but Waffle's looking at, we said we would look into it. We haven't made a formal approval yet, but we want to be balanced with the two. Morning Suns has been replaced 4 years ago, I think it was, so they're not into it, but you guys have a lot of work and stuff. I just wanted to do it for I got in here and talk to you about it. So maybe we can look at something reverse, then maybe one of those that we're kind of looking at. I wanted to go and talk to you this last week.
And I think we, of course, they had been building a fund to buy a new one, but they were so expensive. And we also were in a position where we needed to replace one.
Yeah.
And so we bought a used one.
How old was it that you bought?
And we can add.
Okay.
But we, instead of $250,000, this one was like $50,000.
Yeah, maybe what we could do is maybe look at it. Depends on your chassis. If we, because the one they look at was 200.
There is Mr. Shaw.
Everybody. How's everybody doing?
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will.
Mike? How you guys? Good.
Get the front row.
Yeah.
There's more chairs over by the copier there.
I think we'll.
Now let's go another back row. We should be all right. Is John,
Emily's from John's
she's
office.
a job already. And that's just gonna be a discussion on how we get on the ballot. Correct?
Yeah.
Should we discuss whether we're going to do it? How it looks, or do we, then we need to talk to John sooner or later, but
Yeah.
we could have later, correct?
I think this is gather information to go to John. You're right.
Well, you asked me to get involved.
No, and that's fine, Sandy, I'm not saying it isn't. We're gonna have to talk to him sooner or later. one of the first things we need to do is understand what the first step is. But before that, it's a matter of whether we're going to do this or not. I think everybody is open to it, and we'll discuss that. Also, not only doing it, how's it gonna look, how's it gonna work?
For the future.
So are we gonna talk to John first, or are we going to, Emily, excuse me, are we gonna talk to Emily first, Brad, or are we going
Let's
to?
do, and then we can kind of get it open. She's gonna step through it.
She can tell us how to go about first steps to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Then we'll discuss how we're gonna do it, and if we're gonna do it.
Emily, you hear all of our conversations?
Yeah, I can hear now. And I do think John is planning to join. He just sent me a message saying that he was wrapping up another call. So I think he's planning to join the call as well, but we can get started if you want. It's
Yeah,
up
I'm
to
gonna wait
you.
till Chris comes back in if we could, and then who we have in here, we have all the 3 branches of ambulance services represented here, so they'll probably have some questions, but we kind of want to get the direction we need to go to make us a taxed essential services for the future fundings of our community ambulances. So,
Okay, that sounds good.
and Chris will be just right back.
Do you want me to start on how we got here?
Let's wait till Chris gets back.
Yeah.
We'll get started.
Yeah, because John is not gonna advise us on what it's gonna look like or how it's gonna work. He's just gonna tell us how we go about getting it on the ballot so that the people can vote on it. Correct?
Wait.
That's the way I take it.
Wording is a big thing.
So-
Make sure it's worded
For growth, but we don't have anything.
easy to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Well, it's gonna have to be sold to the voters, otherwise county.
You're right, but there's sometimes those questions are worded in a manner you're not quite sure which way you're supposed to vote.
Well, look at some of the lost things we
I
went
know,
through,
I
the
know.
different ways those, so Sean, we've all been there. Yeah, it's very important to get the wording correct.
Correct.
And
It's hard to do a review.
I don't know, this isn't gonna hurt at all to get the first steps here, but we might have to talk about what we want. So we can get it worded the way they say we need to do it to get on a ballot.
Okay, so we'll wait and see. And then we'll get started.
I'm happy that it's been brought to us and this discussion is going to happen. Because once it's a tax, a levied tax, it'll ensure that this is gonna work forever and keep working. You all different times heard my comments about needing to be run by the county. Well, maybe it doesn't. Maybe everybody can just get along just fine, but we can at least have it on a tax to fund it. I think a better way to fund it.
And maybe eventually it will. But I don't know, baby steps.
Baby steps, you can't just go all at once.
You gotta do something with it.
And the first thing is establishing a funding source that's gonna be there for him.
Put your folder in my initial. Okay. Okay, everybody's here. Was Sean, go ahead and start out with that way.
Okay, so we approached Wapello, wrote to supervisors a couple of weeks ago and brought to their attention. We are doing a lot of runs that we're not getting paid for. We just discussed one out in the hallway today. We were dispatched, not only Adam 1, but 110, our fire department was dispatched to Minneapolis at 2 a.m. for lift assistance to get somebody back in bed. That's just one example of I don't know how many now, I don't have the papers in front of me, but 46% of our calls are outside the city limits of Wapello. And Wapello taxpayers, by and large, are the ones that are funding the Wapello ambulance service. And it wasn't fair to the Wapello citizens to fund that. When 46% of it was all of the county and northern Des Moines County now. We have one ambulance, our first out, Adam one, our blue one, getting some miles on it, 140 some thousand.
Yep.
It's not wore out, but we want to be proactive, not reactive, and we want to talk about replacing it now before it goes down. And we come to them, our budget was 400,000. I think was the number roughly. We were in the black last year, $4,000. It's going to take an awfully long time to save up enough money to buy a new ambulance. So does the ambulance service need to be a windfall of money and make a, no, it does not, but it needs to self-sustain itself and put enough in reserves to buy new ambulances and maintain the equipment and whatnot. And it's not doing that. So we came to the supervisors and basically said, hey, we need a new ambulance. And we've already done that research. It's 1.5 years to get a new ambulance if you order it now. So again, to look proactive and not reactive, we said, listen, we need to talk about that now. We need to get this ordered now so that when we get 1.5 years from now, that we have one and we're not done.
And how long did it take to get one, to interrupt you? It's not something you order today and have the one.
No, it's like 1.5 years.
18 months on
Yeah.
average.
Right.
And
So I want to make sure that got out.
just so you know, the Wapello City Council has moved forward and voted, and we've ordered one. We felt we didn't have to put a deposit down. If in 1.5 years from now it gets here and we decide we don't want it or can't afford it, somebody else is going to buy it. So
For 20,000 more.
yeah,
Yeah.
October
Inflation will be.
Well, October 1st, the prices are going up $8,000. October 1st.
And from when we looked at them, they jumped to $30,000 price.
So
From when
we
we were looking.
felt the need to move forward now. Now, if you buy another one, I think the price actually goes down a little more, but
Yeah.
I'm not here to spend, I am here to spend a little bit. That's where we're at. That's how, and they said, hey, let's get everybody in here. Let's have a meeting. That's why you're here.
I've always thought that there needs to be some funding source to make sure that you can get new ambulances. Having fundraisers and saving money and doing this and that, cake sales and bake sales and so on and so forth is no way
No.
to equip
No.
Emergency service. It needs to be funded through taxpayer money so that everybody's got good equipment.
We had ours remounted just 2 years ago, or whatever it was. It was $120,000, then 30,000 more if we wanted to paint it, repaint it.
Yeah. Oh, and all of that kind of stuff has been done throughout the years. I know that. But through a taxation, regular tax, we should be able to get rid of that and there'll be money there. No different than the secondary roads. Always has money to upgrade their trucks. We can't just keep running that or scabbing them by to get by. We can't do that. We gotta buy new stuff. There's gotta be a budget for that. There needs to be a funding source for the ambulance service. So I am all on board of doing this.
Well, I think about 25% of our calls are not paid for. It might even be higher than that, but
Well, and we're seeing about the same.
and it's okay when people call and they think it's an emergency, whether it really is in our eyes or not, in their eyes, it's an emergency. You have to show up.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think we're all in agreement that we need to do this and we need to go forward with some kind of taxation to do it. The next step and what we can take care of right now, being we've got John Daniels on here with us, is and Emily. We've got them on here. we can find out what the process is because I think it's gonna take a while to do this. You know, we aren't going to pass this and start collecting money in the next 6 months. It's gonna take a year and a half, probably down the line. So that's why we need to talk to these people right now about what the next step is as far as getting all about.
John, Emily, it's, you've heard the introductory to this. Welcome. Can you guys go ahead and tell us the direction we need to start looking at and some of your inputs, please?
Well,
John, you're not coming through on your mic.
you're not getting,
There you go. Maybe turn it up a little bit.
can you hear me at all?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay. If the audio connection is rough,
Not very good.
No, it's not good. We're not.
In and out, John.
well, I'll give it a try. Emily Hammond is joining us today, my fellow colleague at Joyce. No, not working.
It's better when you lean forward.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. Hey, give me one second. Why don't you introduce 422? Can you hear me when I say that or not?
No.
1 minute.
Man, technology. And that's why we opted to just come down here.
Is that any better?
That's
Excellent.
It's got to be a lot better because I took my face off of the screen too. That helps.
We wasn't going there.
Okay, so hello. Sorry for the technical problems. I'm John. This is my colleague Emily Hammond. We're bond lawyers with Dorsey and Whitney. We've had occasion over the last several months to help several counties with the implementation of new taxes, or I should say, we're not there yet, queuing up elections on the implementation of new taxes under Iowa Code Chapter 422D, which allows for the imposition of local option tax to help support emergency medical services. This is the statute that I would encourage you to be looking at and operating under. As a framework, having any ability to move forward with the potential authorization of tax under this chapter does require that the Board of Supervisors adopt a resolution formally declaring emergency medical services to be an essential county service. Historically, maybe Emily knows, but if you have already adopted that sort of a formal resolution, we're not aware of it. But that is a necessary step along the way.
And it has some special consideration requirements that you wouldn't have on just a standard resolution. So it has to be considered at 3 meetings total. And you have to provide 60 days notice, I think, ahead of the first consideration of that resolution. So there's a little bit of timing in there to be paying attention to.
And formality under the statute. So that's some ramp up time. Once that resolution has been adopted, the statute does call for the formation of an advisory commission to work on studying the needs, budgetary, operational, et cetera, in the county. And for that commission to have a report that would be brought back to the Board of Supervisors for reference. This law then allows for an election to be called with a 60% majority requirement. Unlike the local option tax issues that you worked on before, which were a simple majority, this does require a 60% majority approval at the ballot box. And the election would be on the question of whether or not to impose locally in your county either an additional property tax levy, or rather uniquely for Emily and I, we don't deal with income tax much, but this statute actually allows for you to impose an income surtax in the county, or you can do a combination of the two taxes. And what this law does is it not only requires that you state the maximum rate of tax that would be imposed on the ballot, but it also requires that you state on the ballot the actual maximum amount of tax revenues to be yielded from the tax, which is fairly unique. I've not run across another statute that has this requirement. So the counties that we've helped recently, because we had a couple that were working towards putting this on the November ballot, we've stated that in terms of a maximum annual yield over a period of years. So just to illustrate it, if you're going to authorize the tax for 10 years, we're going to make the math easy for Danos and say you've decided $5 million is the maximum aggregate amount of revenue. We've written the ballot in a way to say, you know, an annual maximum of $500,000, right? Because 500 times 10 gets you to 5 million. So, yeah, are there questions about the taxes or the election process that we could drill down on more for you?
There's gonna be, yeah. How about out here in the audience? What kind of questions do you have with that conversation?
I personally believe that we need to figure out where this is gonna go, or how it's gonna look before we can ask those questions.
Would you have anything that you could send over with the other counties to maybe give us a direction, what to look at? Is that what you're kind of looking at, guys? Have for what other counties are doing?
So we talked about that the last meeting on how to divide it up, and
Right.
I think we kind of talked about you get so much per call, whether or not it's a lift assistance you want to pay for, or you actually you get so much a call, and then the more calls you take, the more I don't know how else to do that and still be fair with everybody in the room.
That might be a conversation we have to have amongst ourselves.
It costs me the same for an ambulance as cost them. I'm gonna get a hell of a lot less money.
First thing we need to do is pass a resolution, the first step. And once we pass that resolution, says we're gonna do this, then we can start working on all the
Details.
stuff, all the details. Right now, with John and Emily, it's a matter of what do we do to get this in motion today, so that we don't have to worry, it don't take 2 or 3 years to do it. So I mean, that's and he's pretty well told us the steps, you know, the resolution, the commission, then goes back, decides the rate, so on and so forth. Then at that point, as a group here, we're gonna have to decide on those figures, so we know how much we're gonna have to tax for. But let's today agree to like pass this resolution so that we can set the thing in motion.
My question is, with this, do the ambulances stay as they are with 2 under the city, or do they have to come under the county?
All of them.
All of them.
You're not gonna get any operational directives out of this chapter. This thing is 422D is entirely
The funding.
aimed at
That's the fun.
how do you go about imposing these taxes to go towards the purpose of supporting emergency medical services in the county. This is not going to give you any operational structure for
Okay.
how emergency medical services in the county must be administered.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure on that before we got.
We
into
have
it.
2 under city and 1 under private. The funding does not make a difference on the private part either.
I don't see any restrictions under this statute as long as the funds, the tax revenues are going towards, the provision of emergency medical services. Do you, Emily? I don't.
No, and I mean, I think ultimately that advisory council kind of helps to determine what implementation makes sense based on the existing services that your county has in place.
And who is the advisory council? What group? Who is that made of?
It's chosen by the county.
Yeah.
After the resolution, the commission that we,
But
Local EMS is required.
yeah. And what's the other counties?
Obviously,
What's the makeup of the other counties that's went forward? Is there anything out there yet?
Emily, you may have heard anecdotally, we've gotten involved far later in the process with the counties that we've helped than where you folks are at in your process. When we've been plugged in, it's help us call the election and craft the ballot language, not from when the train is leaving the station. So
Yeah.
that's more than I know.
The language in the statute just directs you to coordinate with the local EMS agencies to establish the EMS Advisory Council.
Yeah, because this is gonna be in place permanently from election thereafter, so that's why I kind of wonder how it's made up and then how we present it on the yearly and how we replace them. So there's a lot of questions I have as far as setting this up, because it has to be set up where you're covering all bases. Okay.
Are there any counties real close to us that have already implemented this?
There may be. That's more than I know off the top of my head. The counties that we've helped recently have been up in the northern tier of the state, but not major population centers either. So probably quite similar to you in terms of economy and being more of a rural type counties, like Floyd County, for example. They seem very well organized with their process. I certainly don't think Gloria, the county auditor up there, would mind a bit hearing from you folks with some practical questions about their process and maybe who some of the key people would be with their advisory council. And Emily and I did not have any interactions with anyone other than Gloria and briefly the Board of Supervisors. So
Yeah, we're gonna reach out to them and see what we got.
well, I see Kossuth County, Kossuth, whatever, they're doing it. There are 2 or 3 counties that are, we're gonna have to talk to them
I don't know.
on how things look.
This is still fairly new.
Yeah, there isn't, but yeah, we're gonna have to talk to some of these other counties. I thought I had a list, and I do, of the 2 or 3 counties that were implementing a tax before.
Now, didn't he say that they could tax property and or income?
Yes.
Yeah.
correct.
How are you,
Yeah.
how are you gonna
I don't know.
figure that out?
Well,
I know.
I don't know how you go into the decision making about which tax to impose. I do know that the income tax, most of the burden of making that happen is going to fall on the Department of Revenue, not you folks at the courthouse, right? Unlike the property tax system that you all are the distributor cap for. That income tax thing is going to get outsourced.
Yeah, we can get rid of that level of bureaucracy just by doing it, the property tax levy.
And And I do like how it has a max having a state, and so I do think that's a good tax.
Just a thought on the income tax, we do have a lot of population that actually don't own the property that we end up responding to. And then
Yeah.
those are our Title 19 patients.
Yeah, it does. It certainly does. I know for communities that have a lot of renters who may be just as likely or more likely perhaps to require emergency medical services, that income tax does give an option that allows a way for those folks to contribute that a property tax would not.
We've always funded through
Especially
property taxes for everything else, every other service that we supply in the county. Yeah. You know, I wouldn't think that it would go off of income because
Schools did some
Mhm.
at one time.
how did that work?
Income cert tax.
I
But yeah, I mean, on my end, if I could recommend anything, I think it would be, you know, it sounds like you're probably in a position where you folks on the board are willing, wanting to declare EMS as an essential service in the county. If you are, that's going to be your first step. And then you move from there into convening this advisory council, working with the EMS service providers in the county to try to figure out how that's going to be populated.
Sounds good.
And let those folks engage in some process to help study these issues, and continue obviously getting input from you folks at the Board of Supervisors. We're not naming names, but we had one county that was particularly disorganized with all of this and just found themselves sort of breathless and really scratching their heads at the last minute trying to get on the November ballot. And other folks who had not had that experience had been more deliberate and really relied on that advisory council, gave them enough time to work things up. And it's just anecdotally, I felt like they had a much smoother time of it. I'll put it that way.
Well, we need to have you get with Sandy, get us a resolution, but we can get that essential service thing forward, and then we can start setting the groups up. Take the time to look at what do we need for funding, because we don't want to come back and try to do this again in a couple of years because we made some mistakes. Set up our boards and move forward.
That's the first two steps.
Yeah.
Pass this resolution and get that advisory council together
Meeting.
and meeting, and there'll be a group like this, and that's when we'll sit there.
And someone will
Work
be
out.
in that group, so.
We'll work out the particulars on how much, whether it's per call, whether it's per area, whether, that's all questions that'll come down the line. But the first thing is get the resolution, if we're gonna go ahead with this. Now, I guess if we suddenly discover that there is no consensus for doing this, we just do away with the resolution. We won't pursue it any further.
I think we're.
Right.
I
beyond that. Yeah, we're
I
beyond
think
that.
that, yeah, I think we're beyond that. I think that everyone is pretty well
We've been trying
decided
to
that
do this for
it should
20
be done
years.
to.
I don't think anybody could argue that it's not an essential service.
That's right. That's right.
And how it never has been.
argument.
Yeah, it never has been, shouldn't have been, but so
It
this will
does say
start
that
the
your
process.
your resolution is void, if the plan does not pass the ballot.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting the word out to the general public, once you have the resolution and we're pursuing this, you're gonna look at our services to help get out and door knock and talk to folks too.
Well, I think
Spread that word.
everybody
I
needs
think we
to,
need to do something.
everybody needs to spread the word. that
Yeah,
this
because
is
not
the way
everybody's
to
gonna
respond
read
to
the Facebook or
emergencies.
paper, you know, so I think that's, we'll have to reach out to our team and all of our
Now,
teams.
if we do something like this, it could be like, we have to do it during an election cycle.
It
or
won't
can
be
we-
this year.
Yeah, but could we like do it next year, special election? I would hate to do that, but if it was a special election just on that one issue, it might be easier to promote that to people rather than have it in with with the 2022 election or the 2024 election.
I think.
It would be a cost to the county to have that special election, but it might be easier to get the word out. What are you saying, Brad?
I agree with you.
What's the cost involved to do this?
I don't know if it can be, I don't remember how they left it for the city and schools, if you can have. John,
Oh, have it on the ballot with their,
yeah. City and schools is next year.
yeah.
If it can be on with that, if we get,
A year from now.
Oh, to my understanding under the election law, you folks are allowed to use any of the available special election dates.
So the cost would be minimal.
So it could be on there with a
It's just
city or school
If it's
question.
on- Yeah. Along with
It's
city
about
and
a $5,000
school,
cost to have elections, so if we do it the other ones.
that's.
I'm just looking at something so we don't have to sit here today and say, well, nothing's gonna probably happen until 2024. And then you've got to wait for the tax to start coming in. I think it's important that we keep this moving forward as fast as we can. So if we pass the resolution, create the commission, start working on this right after the first of the year. And by next fall, during one of our elections, have it on the ballot.
Like summer too.
And then we, by 2024, when you maybe can get on, we'll be long ways down the road.
So with the general consensus, could you work with Sandy and Sandy work with you to get that on our supervisor's agenda in the next couple of weeks, possibly?
The resolution.
The resolution, we can move forward with the other groups.
well, it has to be public.
We're glad to help
Or we have to-
advise you on the process and do whatever drafting needs to be done. If I'm remembering right, I'm pretty sure that ISAC has a model resolution for declaring the essential nature. So we don't want to reinvent wheels if we don't have to. I'm pretty sure that they do. We can look for that.
I'll look on their website.
But yeah, Sandy, we're happy to help you interpret the statute and make sure that the formalities are being observed so that resolution is, legally sufficient.
Okay, so we'll move forward and the time allowed, we have to have voting to put it for public hearing and all that. So if we get that moving, I think we're all consensus. When as soon as date we can get this on our agenda to move forward to have it heard.
Let's make that first step.
So with your office and Sandy, and I appreciate Emily and John coming in here and give us direction. Does any of our, any questions here? Do we get this next step going? And then we'll meet again. Is everybody good with that? I want everybody on the same page, and that's what.
I think what everybody in this room needs to do next, we decided we're gonna do the resolution. The next step will be what you think the advisory council should look like. What it should be made up. Yeah, EMS people for sure. How many other,
I'll
what
look
kind
and
of a
see
group?
what it says it has to look like. It has outlined.
If it's got that, then we'll know, but everybody think about that. That's the next step. Then, once you get that council, I would say that then the next step is going to be, how's it going to look? Is it going to be funded calls? Is it going to be funded area? Is it going to be funded this or that? And once you decide how you think you should fund it, then it'll be a matter of how much funding that will be per entity. And then eventually you're going to keep chopping them off until you end up with, we need to tax for this amount.
And we also have to have it there for equipment for replacements.
Well, yeah, it's going to be
And
all
look
of it. It's going to
beyond
be
just the
all of
normal
that.
day-to-day.
It's going to be the county should have to tax for the new equipment. I don't want you to have bake sales.
Yeah, we're starting to rotate 2 of our trucks just to save the life of of our newest one.
And then equipment.
And yeah, and you know, we're trying to raise money to get 2 power loads. There's almost $100,000 right there.
Well, I don't think you want to quit doing that.
No,
because
no,
you
we're
don't
gonna keep
want-
working on
You
it.
don't want this big blank spot between funding and where you are now. But if everybody keeps working on that, just like you guys just saying, you gotta, change, you guys redone one of your morning sun angles and so forth. Need to keep doing that as we're going forward. But eventually there's gonna be the day where the money should start coming in. Now, there'll be enough money. I don't know how you put that back or how that works, but there'll be enough of a savings that you'll be able to keep buying this new equipment on a regular basis. As soon as it gets so many miles on it or so many years on it, it's time to go and get another one.
And that's where that group will make that decision. Just
That
like our
group's-
trustees
yeah.
do, you know.
That group's gonna have to decide how much funding it's gonna take to do that. The 3 ambulances, how much funding is it gonna take to do that?
Right.
Then we'll put on the ballot for, we're gonna tax this amount to generate this much money. So we're really baby steps here, but,
We gotta do this essential service first.
yeah, sounds to me like we're on track, but I don't know how much more this group and us need to discuss the
A couple more meetings, I think.
intricacies of all these small things. I don't think we're gonna have that discussion today.
And I think personally, a lot of this group should be back together so that we can discuss the needs of each of the services.
Well,
And
that's
kind of
all,
give us some numbers.
that's all gonna come when we get this advisory council created. That'll all be there. Each EMS service tells us what they need to operate. So we can come up with a total amount of money and how that looks. So
Do we need anything more? Let's let John and Emily get back to their life and. Yeah, we'll hash all this out later. So with the.
But our hearts are in Louisa County. That's the key.
Sandy, and we'll get with all of you guys and we'll get this thing moving. So if you guys have anything else to add, we'll let you go.
I don't today.
Okay, thank you.
It's nice visiting with you folks. Good luck. And Sandy, let's be in touch. Have a good one.
Okay,
Right
Jim.
now,
So I think what we need to do is we got Floyd County Auditor, we need to talk to, we got ISAC, we need to get a template. And then we'll get this on our agenda for presenting
Brad,
next week or two.
Brad,
Yes.
do you remember a couple of years ago, you went to West Branch for a meeting?
Yes.
That Sandy Hyde,
Sandy Hyde.
Hike, Heick. She's working with Muscatine County right now and also has contacts in Johnson County. She may be a resource that you could reach out
Do you
to.
have any of her contacts?
Not with me, but I can get it.
Okay, and then maybe we can reach out, that's a good one.
She might have some beneficial information.
Okay,
I'll
thank
get
you.
it to you.
Does this group have anything else? We want to talk about ambulances. We talked about this too, so there's going to be more discussion about replacing some carriages or whole new units. But we was talking about a couple weeks ago, some of our COVID.
American Rescue money.
Yeah.
There is that money available.
So we
to maybe, it looks to me like we need to get everybody up to a level playing field.
Yeah.
So everybody's equipped correctly, so on and so forth.
To start out.
Just start with. Then when you implement the tax and you've got a steady stream coming in every so often so that you can fund it, then you'll look at how much each one should get. You've got to get everybody up a level playing field. You know, if one person does not have a new ambulance, the other one's got 2 new ones. We need to figure out some way to do that. And we've got that American Rescue money that we could maybe use some of that to equip ambulances.
It's
You
just
know,
a good band-aid.
at
Yes.
one time,
Get started.
at one time, I was completely off cut, guys. You know, if we go with 3 brand new ambulances to start with, I would put everybody with a 0 mile, brand new ambulance. Then we're down from there. Everything is when that gets replaced, then everything starts going down the line. I don't know that that's possible build up, but we've got enough money that, and what better way to spend that American Rescue money than, as far as I'm concerned, new ambulances.
I think that's the
And
best.
it takes all the worry out of it for now. We're all in the same playing field, all got the same equipment, everything.
All
Now, we'll go down from there on what it takes to sustain that. Anybody?
So we'll get back together on that, but that's some of our plans. To look forward to the future is, let's get together. This conversation is still gonna continue, but we wanna move forward looking at that. Wapple's already made the first step, but let's see what we can do to move forward.
Let's do
Can
the
I get,
resolution.
30 seconds? of it
Sure,
here?
absolutely.
Just so that these are all the people that are in the room that I want to know some of the information. Some of those guys, they probably know the information, but I don't know that everyone in this room knows it. So it's kind of so what we're looking at is the 422D.
Right.
I'm gonna give these to you, Brad, and you can make copies. This is district, city, and this is the one we're looking at is county. Obviously, the city can do their own, could do their own. It's not made for rural areas. It's made for places like Clive and Ankeny and all these cities that are butting up against each other, where they run a city ambulance. That's what it's designed for. And then other areas like they could do an actual district. So if Johnson County ambulance only would cover half of the county and Care ambulance covered the other half, they could mark out this area and they could do their district instead of an actual county. But what we're looking at is the 422D, which is the one that Brad has. Specifically, it limits it to 75 cents per thousand. It requires a plan. Local EMS must be involved in creating the plan and being on the advisory council. So just exactly what you said, getting together, getting a plan together, then it has to be voted on twice to pass through the council, and then it can go to the ballot. But I mean, everybody's on the right track here. I mean, you got to get the resolution first.
You're saying here, you showed us that there's 3 different ways to tax.
There
The
is.
city could tax, the district could tax, or the county could tax.
Yep.
Okay, and I think.
And there is a
I'm gonna say-
sunset date on this, and it's 15 years for rural counties.
I'm gonna say right off the bat, I think it would make more sense to do county.
I agree.
Because as cities expand, they would need more services. As the district possibly would expand or get larger, or maybe because more people moved into a certain area, this, that.
Right.
There'd be different funding. You'd need more money for this or that. When it's county.
Yeah, our county makes way more sense to do it.
Because
county.
Yes, I
everybody's
don't want to
gonna
say
pay
that to start with.
for it. If you live in this town, you're paying county taxes.
This is just a summary.
And a lot of people don't understand that. You pay county taxes living in the city.
Yeah.
To me, I wonder about the income tax.
I mean, if they did it on a city,
Well, that's
city
something we
level,
look
that's
at.
only gonna be
Yeah,
inside the
exactly.
city.
And that was one of my thoughts too. We can, because like you mentioned, so we have Tyson up there, which is, so many people that
The majority does not live in the county.
and they are also some of our biggest clients, biggest number of clients in our area.
Well, got a lot of specific needs for a rural county.
Well, that's something we can go down the line, we can discuss.
That would be for our
That's gonna
advisory
be-
board would be a good decision.
Yeah, they'll make that decision.
Okay. So anyway, the recap, we're gonna move forward and bring us down. This conversation's not over with. We do need to hear from each of the groups about ambulance hire conditions and what we can do. I know you, Construction just did one. Maybe we can look at reimbursement if you don't think you need one. Morning Sun will talk to you.
We bought a used one that had 95,000 on it. Our 2016's got 120, almost
And
125.
you have it in your possession.
Yes, it's in service. And then our backup truck is 160 some thousand. She's 2003, she's getting tired.
She does.
She works, but.
That's
All right.
all. This is the
So you
discussion.
know, we're all on the same
Yep.
path. We know what we want to do and how we want to get there, and we are offering to look into that, so. Yeah.
So it's gonna take some time. So
Yes.
I think we can't do this. I mean, it looks to me like the fastest we could probably possibly get anything done would be like next year, but then still, yeah, you're gonna
But
have
it's
to
18 months.
be next. Well, it's gonna take a year to get on the ballot. It'll take 18 months to
Yeah,
start getting
right.
money in.
On this replacement ambulance.
That's 18 months.
Today.
Yeah,
If
well,
you
yeah,
were
that's
today,
gonna, that's gonna happen before,
So we have the money for that right now.
that's right. So
So,
I think we're on the right path, guys, but I think it's gonna take some hard work and a lot of time.
Well, if the county then does the funding for the ambulance service, I think it's either Waffle or the county's responsibility, maybe to go talk to Northern Des Moines County
To talk to what?
too. Northern Des Moines County.
somehow we gotta get outside of our county.
Who would you
Muscatine,
talk to?
Walton.
I don't-
Yeah.
Their
talk to
county
the
supervisor?
Well,
I
we're
think
gonna
we
have
have
to
to
talk
do
to Muscatine County too, because
Yeah, because
we're in the same situation.
cover a
We got two ambulance services, three
Because then
ambulance
you're in
services
the
here.
same situation that Waffle's in right now, where Waffle is paying for it, but 46 C.
Yeah, they need to get reimbursement back.
We're gonna have to get paid when we go out of the county.
Somehow.
So
I think
some
that
way, we gotta
direction comes
be
from the
paid when we
supervisor.
go out of the county.
I think
I-
we'll make a somehow that when we
Yeah,
get this
but it-
going, we have to reach out to the county surrounding counties. I agree.
We talked to them.
Because there has to be a reimbursement. from the
No, if
county
they were
around
funding
this.
it the same way you were, then it would be easy. You Say,
Yeah.
okay, well, we had 400 calls in your county last month.
Because it works both ways. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. If
It's
they
a-
come up here, then
Because
that's,
sometimes they do come our way.
Yeah, if they would come across the line to us, we'll pay them.
Yeah.
I think we can do
Good
it.
point.
We're gonna get it.
just something
figured out.
to think about.
Do you guys get a subsidy from Northern Des Moines County at all?
0, 0, 0, 0.
Well, I mean, if we take the transport, then
I'm
obviously.
just, no, you get a subsidy from the county.
But we've had many non-transport calls.
The county pays the fire department of Muscatine a subsidy for hazmat coverage, just for
Yeah, that's.
It's an annual fee,
annual fee.
but this is gonna have to be per call basis.
Don't they do something with the swap too?
That's a joint.
Is it joint?
That's joint.
Is that why they're joint? There's 3 or 4 counties.
Yeah, there's 4 counties on the,
I don't know.
On the
That's,
surface.
that's another piece to this puzzle, I think. It's not here yet. We need to get farther down, the road, but I think it's a discussion that needs.
Well, I
to-
don't think that it's gonna stop anything here. It can be worked out.
We'll reach out.
Yeah.
Because they gotta be working on the same thing.
You bet. I would think that, I can't believe that all
Well,
99 counties.
Meeting's over.
Wow. I can't believe that all 99 counties are going to do that.
well, I don't know, I guess the one thing that just, all the services before, we've always covered areas outside of city limits. I mean, we've always covered that. If we look at how the services have been set
We're
up.
not opposed to doing it. Absolutely not. It's just when you get so many out to Minneapolis that are no transports or lift assistance, you know, diesel fuel.
Oh, no, I
Your
completely
vehicles,
understand the
your
expense.
people
Yeah, we're
getting-
right there with
Running
you,
your
yeah.
people to death.
And you might be a mile away and they might call this call off because they come in. I've heard that a lot.
Before too. I found a crew and we're halfway there.
Well,
It's just
That's
frustrating.
discussion for later.
Frustrating.
We can sit and discuss this kind of.
Yeah, we need to,
scenario.
really, we should be discussing what our advisory board is gonna look like.
Okay.
Get your resolution.
Well, it's-
going,
let's
We'll get the
know.
resolution done and then we will.
Get
I would
that,
think at the next meeting, we can decide on how we want it. We'll have the information. We decide on what we want an advisory council to look like.
yeah,
And
yeah.
ISAC's gonna lead us.
Right, they'll have the information. So there's the next meeting.
Iowa Association of Counties.
Yeah.
But Bill,
And we're a member of it. So.
Oh. Very good.
Anything else, guys?
Thank you.
Thank all for coming out. Yeah,
We're glad to hear that the county's start helping us out. Helping us all out.
well, like Randy says, the cost of equipment will be on big sales and taco suppers.
We don't want that. Don't want that. There's absolutely.
We're beyond that with the
We
price
are-
of equipment.
We are trying bake sales to buy Mack dump trucks. Yeah, no.
Not yet.
We are not.
Not yet. Good idea. I'm just kidding.
We are not gonna do that.
Put that in the paper.
Yeah, I know. Front page. I was thinking.
Don't worry, don't worry.
Just kidding. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot, yeah.
Thanks for taking time.
I'm gonna give you guys, this is how we keep track of. Keeping track.
Or in any way.
There was no insurance claim. These are just on the insurance claims. And how they, you know, how much of it you don't get.
Well, I don't know.
Well, you know, we went from the beginning of this, we was kind of bridging the gap on training and people that didn't pay and.
Yeah.
It's gotten to be more than that.
As we move forward.
As we're
This will
staffing.
take care
But yeah.
of the whole, there's gonna be there's a real learning curve to this thing.
You found out the hard way.
I think the biggest thing is we go with ISAC, get their direction. I mean, they're representing us in Des Moines and everything else. It's kind of our direction tool, and I think it's gonna make a difference. But this will help your struggles. And we just, like I said, we're just gonna help you through it, and then we'll get paid in the back.
But I don't know how they're.
Well, we've got our, they've gotten so that our funding in Medicare was the biggest one, that was the slowest one.
Has that started to turn around?
And we've finally gotten that to start to flow through. Of course, you know, there ends up being a big discount on what you build for versus what you get on Medicare.
They're the ones that.
And of course,
Medicaid is the worst of all.
and again, each one of the different insurance companies that you are with, you know, everybody has a different insurance plan. You know, even if you're a Blue Cross Blue Shield or Wellmark or whatever, you know, there are different plans in and among it that maybe pays for ambulance services or other services different.
How have you changed, since we're talking about, how have you changed your billing? Because I know you guys was overwhelmed starting out. Have you got somebody in place?
These guys have got it figured out, we believe so far, that they are doing it in-house. And between Jim, Dan Connery, and Jennifer Martin, they seemingly at the moment have it figured out.
Is the dollars and cents going the other direction? You know, how's that look towards 150,000?
Well, and like I told you when we did it, you know, I didn't know what our percentage of collection is going to be. Well, this is going to start showing you what our percentage of collections are going to be. And again, I don't think we're anywhere near far enough down the road to figure out yet where we are now.
Yeah, I was just looking.
I'm gonna think, to be honest with you, to get that funding back to you, I think it's gonna end up having to come back through this emergency thing finally, because I don't think we'll ever collect enough to pay all of that back.
Well, that's just like one, because we had two different things, the 75,000 that was borrowed to start, and the 75,000 that was to continue you on for the cash flow. How does that look right now?
Well, again, and it'll be the other thing that this committee will have to look at. Each one of these three ambulance entities are put together differently. And
we're
so,
going to get commonalities.
and so we maybe have some cost advantages over somebody, but somebody else is gonna, you know, again, we're at 4 paid staff. The others are not. Now, maybe they need to be, and I think they will be. But again, that's what this committee's going, so it's gonna be hard to compare Wapello to Columbus Junction to Morning Sun, because each
But I
one
don't-
of them is different.
I don't believe you're gonna be 150,000 in the whole.
No.
And that's where I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you had the 75, we paid back the 75 to keep it going. Wondered how that was starting. Now that more money's coming in.
Yeah,
How is that looking? Does it look like it's working?
yes,
Yes, it might never
yes.
with what you gotta write off and this and that. Or with your added expense, it might never look good, but it's not going to be that full $150,000.
No, we don't.
And like again, you said that it will, as you start getting the different funding, that can help.
Yes.
Okay,
You know,
I'm okay with
ambulances
it.
are just not, they're just not a money-making venture.
No, but we have one group that's making the billing work.
Yeah,
So I
Yes.
expect the same out of you.
yes, we have, Jennifer Martin went to class and she just has to finish up her testing for billing and coding.
And I don't want to think that, who's ultimately responsible for the billing? We need one
Ultimately, it comes
person.
down to me as the director.
That's the guy I want to know, because if it don't happen, I want you to answer why.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But I don't want to say that, to take the finger off the pulse, we have to make this work so this gets on the ballot.
Right.
And I think if one group is having success by doing it, I want to make sure that we expect the same out of you guys.
And you guys have been great advisors for us.
That's what we want.
We've been working together a lot.
We don't want to reinvent it, but I don't want to take the finger off the pulse and say that we're going to wait till.
It's always, you know,
So let's continue to make effort to get that.
okay.
It would take some of the burden. You know, we've been working really close with these folks down here.
I don't want to say let's wait till.
Giving advice and direction.
Let's keep our finger on the
Yes.
pulse.
Oh, yeah.
City, now we're city, so we're trying to work the same.
Good, wonderful.
You know,
Yeah.
we're trying to help each other
And I just
out.
want everybody to know that we want this to work, and it's working one place. If we do the billing right, it should work.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, you know, the billing is one thing, but the cost that each of the three different places. The cost.
Right, it's different. You bet.
And we gotta that's why that group's gonna be, where we unify us, that we run this facility. And I don't know how that's gonna work or how I see that, but I'd like to see it where we're doing consistency. And we're not consistent, but I wanna see consistency. from the group.
Well, the only way you're gonna get
And that's
consistency
financial
is,
patient care.
the only way you're gonna get consistency is the county's gotta run all three.
Well, the county's gonna have to do more of the billing, so I don't know how that's gonna be, but it has to be with the tax entity, the county has to have the finger on it.
Well, and that's fine. I
Because
don't
of-
have, I don't have a problem
Because
with
of
that.
taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
You guys can run it,
Yeah.
but somehow the county has to have the finger on it.
Yeah. Well, it's the same way the city is right now.
Yeah. You wouldn't allow a private group to run your fund,
No.
and we can't, as, we have to somehow look at how,
But
we gotta be responsible for the budget.
correct, but you're also dealing with another public entity
Yes,
versus,
make it work.
except for Morning Sun. Again, you got,
Yeah, and I don't
You
know
get-
how that's gonna work.
you
I don't
got-
know where that's gonna go.
you've got three different setups.
With three different expenses and so on and so forth. I don't know what you're saying there.
And how you,
Wapello said they made like $4,000 last year when you weigh it out. Well, you guys might have lost $4,000, or maybe you made $6,000.
Yeah.
They're never gonna be the same
correct,
because there's different expenses.
correct.
When it was
different than
private,
that. We
we
know
was
that.
looking at two sets of books. We know that, we're not stupid.
Mhm.
And with Morning Sun, we're looking at two sets of books every time we get, because they're getting what the county's funding. They're giving us that portion, but they're not giving us the full.
Well, that's, you know, and when we became involved, that was one of the things I thought I saw was you were getting a copy of where the 3,700 or whatever dollars a month was going. Well, it's all in the same books. It's all in the same bucket. I mean,
Yeah,
you,
so it's hard to do.
you can't, that information was worthless, to be right honest with you.
No, I get it.
Well, it was,
We
they
just-
went up the flagpole.
but It was our job to make sure it's
Yeah.
spent responsibly.
Yeah.
Is
And
all
we
we
see-
can really do.
Yeah, well, I figured you did.
Because sometimes it would, somebody else would take over and we'd see our real numbers. And spotlight, and we would bring it up and talk about it.
Well, and that's what I've been pushing, trying to get our bookkeeping. So that again, we have a true profit and loss that you can really take a look and see where you are.
Run it as a
And
business.
And of course, I've had a hell of a time getting people to understand that all this other
You
stuff.
guys been doing as long as you don't do your loss like the hospitals do, right?
Yeah.
Where you lose $50 million.
And write it off.
That's the write-offs. Well, shoot, I'll show you our write-offs.
No, it's all gonna be.
You know what I mean? It's
That's the nice thing was we hand.
hard money and soft money.
We hand the city our write-offs.
This is a
all the time.
business for the county. So, and I don't know how we're gonna,
But it's
we
not,
don't wanna hear this, but somehow we have to have our audits controlled because it's taxpayers.
well, we get on it.
Yes, but when we're brewing all together, we all have to be on the same.
This was a baby step.
So I used
20
to work
years
on
from now, the county will be running
and I
it all.
know they were doing
We'll be all dead and gone.
private entities. What the county did in order to keep a foot in the door with them and to have a say
It's a
in how
big
things are
baby
run.
step. The
The
city
county
can-
purchased the
I think
ambulance,
another,
so
I
that
think
way
another
they
one to look at.
they have a controlling factor into the services.
Is our benefit.
And say, we're not like that, you're doing.
Okay, we don't want to micromanage it. We'll do it.
Taxation.
No, but-
all that kind of-
Oh, but that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm just worried
Yeah.
about or something. But they want to oversee the financials. Yeah, they had a controlling factor into being able to take some.
Like the fire departments, you don't run the
But
fire
now they're going to
departments,
trust
you
me.
control.
The one that hands it out.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't know how this is gonna play, but
It's
we've
the
got to
same
do.
thing. It's
a lot of
advisory
research.
council.
It's just an idea, I know it
How
works
we
well down
handle
there.
it.
They control care ambulance fund, you're not gonna get any additional subsidy
Countywide rather than
because,
just-
your numbers just
Again,
aren't
the
adding.
city, the district, the
So
three
we're
things they
gonna-
showed us.
Hold on pumping or subsidy payments anymore.
So you
Type
could
deal.
think of this. in
Yeah,
county.
Jefferson County, I heard them talk about it a lot the last 2 years. It's been a lot
I think we're all right. I
Yes.
think we're going.
Lot of
right. I think
diversity,
we
a lot of
have some
different-
expectations.
And I know they're gonna be going to county service here probably within the next year.
I actually think.
Because
that
they're
all
not
of
having
them-
it here.
There was a private service and nobody knew it.
Yep,
Salaries that-
It was
One
Midwest,
that was going north, but you don't
Here, we don't
it was
need this a
Midwest
lot.
ambulance and then now it's care ambulance. And from what
Pass this
I've understood
resolution.
is they're
Create
gonna
this group and
probably
start
the
having
next time the
meetings.
contract renewal, they're gonna go county based.
Because we've got to see how
Because
it's
they're
gonna look
done with
before we
private.
come back to him, and get it all about.
You say Midwest.
Yeah, and I think. And I don't.
Yes, I
Got a reputation.
I would think this group would deal more with finances than anything else. There's no need to. It would look like to me, again, the finances is necessary, makes it work together. Fine.
That's how you guys get your money for your ED class.
Advisory council, all
I
about
just-
how much money we need to do.
That's kind of
Then
curious.
there's
I
gonna
didn't know
be
if there
somebody
was
else
a-
that has to implement.
They kind of quit meeting.
And that's how much per call, or how much per district, or this or that.
And I don't.
That's gonna look different.
Yeah.
Because
Again, when I come back and take a look at the
Check,
differences
checking,
between
and all that stuff, that money.
I don't see how
goes
you-
into, and then it gets dispersed.
I mean, the normal deal, the number of calls, whatever. I don't see how that will work.
not with the three we got right now.
Yeah.
If there was only two,
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Possibly.
possibly, start getting some meetings. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably could
Back again, that should be worked.
piggyback.
This
that
isn't
right
gonna
off
be-
this Advisory.
But I,
Yeah.
Well,
possible.
It should be the other way, but since
Do we have to make the owner decision?
but it's just like, Waco owns their.
You guys
I don't know.
We rent and we've got 2 locations. They've got 1.
It's probably gonna go the other way, like I said.
Morning sun, I guess I've never been down there.
Back again, what you were
Since
talking
we're
about,
trying to get
different,
this rolling, might
different
as well wait.
entities have different expenses. So one might be making money where one isn't.
Yeah, doing the exact same
Doing
thing.
the same thing. So that has to be addressed.
Yeah, I don't know how you,
It's up that.
I mean, that's part of what gets
I'm
picked out.
on that.
How do balance that out.
Once the money's being bought, then you got, how we're gonna implement it.
Yeah.
There's two different things here.
Well, at
The
that
money
central
might,
service,
the money will probably be the easiest.
you would have a charity group supporting, that'll go away, because it's social service. So this is no one gonna change. It just,
Yeah, because we currently still hold our 501c3 separate from the city.
this whole,
Yeah. So I would imagine that would go away, vanish.
somehow, some way,
Yeah.
It was not active.
I don't know.
Maybe,
I'm just assuming that
it may be not, because,
maybe we rent.
well, having a 501c3 and somebody wanting to donate to the ambulance, that's the only way you can take a donation to the ambulance, is through a 501c3. If somebody really, really wants to do that and have a tax deductible, they can't give it to the city to pass it on to them, because then it's not tax
And then it
deductible.
becomes
Do we
essential
need to do
service.
that?
They can't
Huh?
do that.
Do we need to do that once it's funded by a tax?
Taxes. That
Back
might go
again,
away.
and I always use this analogy with the road department. We're not taking donations to support the road department. We don't do that.
No, but there might be niceties that really shouldn't, that shouldn't be tax
Okay,
dollar
gotcha.
funded.
Then you could go to
So,
donations.
and again, the ambulance went and saved somebody's life, and so, or
Well, that's how
whatever,
Adam
and
Six was
so they
purchased.
wanna,
It was from a huge donation.
they
from-
wanna
from
donate it.
our-
Wasn't taxed.
No, it wasn't. It was strictly.
So
what
there-
Adam Six- The fire departments take,
But it's ran by a
Donations.
majority of volunteers.
fire departments take donations.
Yeah, but I don't know,
They're
but-
taxed,
but I don't. you-
benefited fire
You
districts.
can give it to them, but usually like the fire department, I take it doesn't get into their profit and loss.
No. it
And
wouldn't. No.
so it's into a separate entity, and maybe it's in a tax exempt entity, and maybe it's not, I don't know.
Okay.
The sheriff's office has gotten donations for their cams.
Yeah, they got a lot.
And it doesn't mean you can't get them, it just means if somebody wants to give them to you and they want to be tax deductible,
We just have that.
you
Well,
can't.
we're trying to, get a new group going to really run our 501c3, and, we're thinking Friends of Louisa County Ambulance, for example. And that group would pretty much run. Be separate. Run the charity side. Charity side. Yeah,
Yeah, well,
and then I can go to them and say,
No
this is
different
my
than-
proposal, can we get this
It's no
money?
different than Friends of the Library.
Right, exactly, yeah,
The library's owned by the city.
correct.
And so you have a friends organization on the side that people, and they shouldn't have to, because, yeah, the city ought to cover all the bills. The only thing is, the city doesn't cover all.
Yeah.
And they'll be the same way on ambulances and fire departments.
And the counties help support their libraries also.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's the financial end of the thing that's.
And I agree with you
There's a
guys.
lot
I
of
think
files
as this
to look through,
develops
so.
and we start looking at each service and what the needs are, I think we can get
It's
this ironed out.
It's gonna be a learning curve. Yeah, we maybe pretty steep, but we'll learn. ISAC, I think will help us, so.
But yeah, no, it can be figured out. I'm not.
Well, thank you, guys.
In 5 years, we'll have it figured out.
Maybe.
But. It's crazy as the world is.
I know.
We may not.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks, Andy.
How's things?
Getting better. Take care.
Yeah.
Are you done?
Yes, we're done.
Can you come out to the transfer station for a few minutes? Our scaling, we have to replace our